Some complaint her team after investigated upon.
Trigger warning. I will be reading out depictions of sexual assault from this point on. She said, "Not essentially. I ran my being forceful music. I was similar. I thought myself like this is no longer my choice. Platter allegations. These allegations are strongly serious false accusations, non-behavior, category, untrue, and insane. Rasta described West unsettled behavior. I fired in your time. She said she didn't know about this physical claim. She didn't want to be known as a rape victim. Rasta said she later felt compelled to public reactions was dominated by conversation about another woman, Lindsay Field, who alleged Platter mistreated her and faced acts of her role in the party. Found out that political field stood by the allegation made in time further.
It's not like it was the field, so that's making down the pronunciation of Rasta.
My story was just real. Rasta said the story was just Lindsay and the allegations were being politically motivated. Rasta said she was reporting allegations with Platter. I was reading situations. Small thoughts I had. Not quite sure how to handle allegations. I ran my being forceful music. I was similar. I thought myself like this is no longer my choice. Platter allegations. These allegations are strongly serious false accusations, non-behavior, category, untrue, and insane.
押し込むリセット迷い込む迷路進めどもがるせにょドアの先に僕の背中が見えた振り向いた先に希望が見えた地獄の果てなどどこにあるのか出口はまだなのくるくるくるくる繰り返す繰り返す繰り返す繰り返すフラフラフラフラフラくだるフラくだるフラくだるフラくだる扉を開け耳を忘れ行かれた夢の奥へどこまでも続いてくくるくる繰り返すくるくるくるくるくる
Yo. We have so much that it's almost overwhelming. I don't even know. I kind of know where I want to start, but to say times are depressing is an understatement of the century. It is 7/9/2026, 2:48 p.m. Central Time. How are we doing? Let's see. Holy fuck, man. It's so much. So much on a docket. Where do you even start? The Grand Platinum stuff still some aspects of the Grand Platinum stuff. Maybe we'll slightly start with some of that, not touch on it too much. We got a Trump reaction to the Platinum stuff. And then we'll touch on, I think Emery responded. I don't know where this response is, if that's the case. I don't know where it is. I think Emery responded to Miss Kiff. I'm not sure where this is, if it's out there. I do know there's some like leaked messages from Asmongold and Emery. I do not know how that got out though. I don't know how Miss Kiff got a hold of this. Do we want to just like slightly talk on this? This is like the least surprising thing ever though. Like, hands down. Hold on 1 second. Let me turn on some background music. H2BH. I don't know what that means. We'll turn on this. No. This. There we go. There we go. Oh, okay. Oh my god, look at the amount of tabs I have up. And then all this on the docket, man. Miss Kiff reveals Emery messages and new expose. Here's the messages in and of itself he just posted. Did he post another expose? I know there was the part 1 stuff, but did he post another thing? Is there already a part 2 that I missed? Hey, Asmongold, you gonna react to your queen Emery's 48 minutes of lies? 48, okay, is that on her Twitch or something? I don't know if she has a YouTube channel or anything, I haven't checked. Or do you want to keep hitting on her saying how cool you are for using the N-word as passwords at 33 years old? What is this, 2024? Did she send this? Did she send this to him? This is like 2 years ago. 5/18/2024. Emery sent this to me in a screenshot years ago. Okay. A creative, huh? Asmongold puts in N1IQGE3R5. Wow. Very creative. Wow, so edgy, so funny, so edgy, so funny. Asmongold is the comedian of our lifetime. Screenshotted, JK. she was not just kidding. And we're throwing you under the bus here, Asmongold. Although Asmongold, I'm sure at this point does not care because he's just out and about racist, to be quite frank. All I can do is just say, well, it's a racist joke, yeah. Yeah. I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have done it. But I did it. What's going to happen? That's gonna happen. I shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have done it. At a certain point, he wasn't even the... wait. At a certain point, he wasn't even the word anymore? What is he trying to convey here? It wasn't even the word anymore, I guess? Everyone knows I said it, don't worry. I think I even have videos of me saying it. And where it says, really? LOL. Asmongold says, yeah, like I have super, super bad stuff online and no one cares. This guy just knows. This guy just knows. He's tapped in. Wait, it's 2024 before he got really, really bad? What is the timeline of this? Oh, he got really bad. Yeah, this is like 2 years ago, 2020. Okay. But Pokemon is a racist for her clips. Shrug. Or is it like a little dance thing? But you don't try to act perfect, I guess. Asmongold says, yeah, that's why people hate her. Not because of the words. It's the fakeness, 100%. I feel like Miz is pretty much over the canceled stuff. But it's always going to be there. And he can't joke around with it like I know he would because of OTK. Racist chud. Holy confirmation. What was that one Denim's joke where she... it's like the kitten thing or something like that. I'm gonna say something really bad. What was that joke? It's basically that joke, but like true. Jesus. That's not Pearl Clutch now. Dude. That's kind of true. That's kind of true. That's kind of true. That's kind of true. That's true. That's true. That's true. Emery game for life. EG4L. Oh, yeah. Happy to be here? Okay, that's what it means. Okay. Are you covering Grand Platinum today? Like a little bit. Like tiny bit. Tiny bit. We got like a lot of different things that like I just need to like rant on to. I said this last stream, but I just want to reiterate this. Like, I'm going to do like a total separation of like interaction with like Snark Left stuff. We're just gonna keep it simple here on this channel, okay? I think the last conversations I'll probably have about this are possibly with Dan in the future, maybe, and maybe Darius. That's about it. After that, it's a wrap. We're done. I don't care. I'm like, it's too redundant. We need to go on politics and just shit like this. Can't keep being redundant. It's not worth it too when like every conversation turns into like basically just nonsense. And it gets like super redundant and like boring and yeah. Keep it easy. Keep it easy going. Clearly talking about somebody else. If you don't post the full screenshots, you're lying. Yeah, I don't know what this is in reference to. Context would be nice here, but like again, Asmongold's like subhuman, so it doesn't really matter to me that much. It's like this screenshot is basically just like, oh, he's 101% Hitler, but he's already 100% Hitler, so it's like it doesn't really matter all that much. Like why would this change anything that meaningfully for how I view Asmongold, you know? This is really more about like Emeru than anything. But like even that's not that surprising. It's like, you know, we're just gonna keep hanging out around Asmongold. Wow, surprise, surprise. Emeru's like scum. Oh, cool. Oh, is that what you meant? Okay. 48 minutes. Okay, that's his own video. He made it sound like she made another video in response or something. Okay, that's what it sounded like. Okay, never mind. So he's just clarifying in his video. Okay, debunking it all. Do we need to watch this? Does this matter? Am I going to reveal any? Is there anything new that's going to be in here?
Emiru.
It's just going to be a recap of the 45-minute video thing. Yeah. It's just a recap. We don't need to watch this. Quite frankly, we'll wait for any more updates on this, and then we'll cover this. Okay. I don't care that much.
As we await our first
big deal. Let's just go Grand Platinum.
We spent most.
Okay, we got a couple videos to watch and a couple tweets to react to, and some reactions, specific reactions. Specific critiques. This is what we'll look at. Graham Plattner still has some leverage over Democrats, strategist says. All right, let's see what the strategy is. Okay.
Most of the day today, checking the wires, wondering if and when the news would cross that Plattner had indeed decided to end his campaign. Are you surprised he hasn't yet?
I'm not surprised. I feel like he and his team are true believers.
Is the music too loud? Hopefully it's not. Tiny bit. There we go.
And they don't want to just give the nomination to just any Democrat. They really believe in disrupting the Democratic Party. And so they either want to stay in it to the bitter end or ensure someone of like mind is in that spot. And that's why they're trying to hold out and see if they can try to force the state party's hand. And so this might be a game of chicken between now and Monday, which is the deadline for him to quit if he has to get off the ballot.
Right. Well, I saw your column yesterday in Washington Monthly.
By this point, to be clear, this was speculation about whether or not he would hold out and use some leverage. By this point, he's already dropped out. He's already put the statement out that he's dropped out. Bernie told him to drop out. Get the fuck out. But this this will be interesting to see some speculation of what I was looking at.
If Graham Plattner won't quit,
utilize this to his advantage or whatever. If you wanted to be a true scumfuck,
Democrats need to quit.
Scumfuck, even more scummy, even fucking us even more.
Him, Bill, it appears they have. We can list the ways. Kayleigh mentioned Bernie Sanders, Ro Khanna, just about everybody has made tracks to Maine and was apologizing at one point for Graham Plattner has withdrawn the endorsement. Why would he have any say in who comes next?
I mean, as a literal matter, he has to quit to get off the ballot under Maine law. They can't literally force him off. And now they're doing pretty much everything they can to force him off.
Does he have the leverage to cut a deal?
The only leverage that he has is that he can say, I'm not going to leave unless you do what I say. That's the leverage that he has. The leverage that the rest of the Democrats have is we're not going to give you any money, which is what they basically said. Now, there's one thing that the other Democrats haven't done yet, which is to say, Graham Plattner, if you stay on the ballot, we are going to find someone else to run as a write-in. And under Maine law, they have until August 25th to file as a write-in.
The only advantages that you would have of keeping on the ballot instead of dropping out immediately, the leverage that we would have is if there was extra stuff that people had on him that they were going to reveal, and he's like, well, if you make a promise that you won't, but there's not really much else to work with. You're kind of fucked either way. So it's really not advantageous overall. I think either way, things were going to come out no matter what.
We're going to find somebody else to get behind and not. So don't think we're going to suck it up if you stay in and say we have no other choice. We do still have a choice. That's the one card that hasn't been played yet.
Well, so considering Plattner's cards is one thing, and the decisions that Plattner will have to make in the days ahead. But what about the decisions that many Democrats made prior to this in standing by him, not in the face of these specific sexual assault allegations, but in the face of the controversy around his past?
And there was a second amount of sexual assault allegations, which is not surprising. Dude, I also saw, man, we have to look at this too. I didn't even pull it up, but that's how much there is. That's how much there is to go over. Whereas Ryan Grimm and Sagar from Breaking Points were making rape apologia, basically, where they were trying to angle it in a specific way where it was well, there's this thing that was left out that she said in the beginning before he just ran into her house basically without her permission and full on raped her, she technically invited him. She technically, talked about, wanting her glutes rubbed in, So, they really should have added that. I think there was some journalistic malpractice there. Holy fuck, man. Holy fuck. There was some crazy rape apologia from Ryan Grimm. Some crazy rape apologia. Insane.
Social media post, his tattoo of a Nazi symbol, allegations of toxic behavior in previous romantic relationships, including the one with the woman who is the victim around these allegations, which again, he denies. But what does this say about other Democrats who were backing him, Bill?
Well, considering that most have at least gotten to that place today, you know, if we're going to compare Democrats and Republicans, we have a president of the United States that was found liable for sexual abuse in a civil trial, and he's president of the United States, and almost every Republican still backs him. Now, I grant, and I've made this argument myself, I thought Democrats were not being principled in sticking with him up until yesterday because the red flags were really burning your eyeballs. But I think you have two camps of
I wonder
Democrats.
what that call was like, too, with Bernie calling Graham Plattner and being like, hey, bro, hey, chief, you gotta wrap it up here. Drop out. Can you imagine a Bernie being like super aggressive and like just being like, drop the fuck out now. Drop the fuck out now, rapist. Drop out now. You're going to lose either way. Fuck off. So don't fuck us over in the process. Drop out now, rapist.
Or one argument, the hardcore.
Or did Bernie call him with like a very polite tone? He's like, listen. I understand that it's probably a false allegation. But it doesn't look good, buddy. It doesn't look good. Drop out for the party. If you want to stand by your beliefs, stand by your principles, drop out for the good of the party.
Diehard Plattner supporters that felt we need him. He's indispensable to the cause of change in the Democratic Party, and we can't sacrifice him. And then there are other Democrats who waited until the primary vote last month and said, well, this is what Maine Democrats want, and who are we to say no, we got to suck it up and be team players here. And the absolute red line that almost no one's willing to cross is credible accusations of rape. I mean, there's just no real acceptance of that, except for the very, very small few at this point. So at least those are being vocal, unless Graham Plattner tries to force the issue and say it's me or nobody.
This was like on the hypothetical, which I don't think is the case at all from everything that I can take a gander at. There's no way that's a false allegation, but if it was, there's so many other different things that should have made him like already drop out the race, that he shouldn't have been running in the first place. So many other different red flags where like this is just like the thing that like is like, okay, well, it shouldn't have taken to this point. It shouldn't have had to happen now. It should have happened earlier. But I'm glad the victim spoke up for herself, for the truth to come out, and for the this person to not be a representative of the party in Maine.
Let's see where you stand now.
We've got less than a minute left. Then, Bill, have Democrats lost Maine?
I mean, Graham Plattner could still be.
Is the thing that stopped her from coming out sooner is that she was like in agreement with most of the like policies. That's the sadder thing. Is like if you're running as a progressive, and like you victimize people or whatever, maybe like some people will. Some of your victims might hesitate because they don't want to like crumble the chances of like the party doing some actual like good for once. Very deplorable. With your history, knowing what kind of history you have, know what kind of behavior you've engaged in, like it's just disgusting to fucking waste our fucking time here. Absolute filth. People should be madder about this, by the way. Hassan is not mad enough. Kyle is not mad enough at Plattner. None of these people are mad enough at the person who wasted our fucking time with all of these fucking lies. Thanks a lot, Plattner. Appreciate it, man.
He forced out. He could still
filth.
Quit. Someone with a clean slate could get in there. Susan Collins' favorables are not good right now, and it's a blue wave coming across the country. Every data point we have says that. So I don't think it is lost. I think Graham Plattner would lose if it was him. The party has to find a way to unify and make the race about Collins again and not about Graham Plattner.
The sadder thing is I'm not sure. I could see enough rape apologists. That's the sad thing. I see enough rape apologists where Plattner would still win. That's not guaranteed. It's way less likely, especially after all the lack of endorsements. Maybe just off of that alone, he was never going to win. But like, I don't know. I feel like voters, if they felt like there was no other option at that point, and they were like, well, I don't want to vote for this fucking piece of shit candidate, but like this is basically what I had to work with, then it would have happened that way. I think it's basically the lack of endorsements from like bigger, platforms or whatever, bigger voices out there. They're like, we can't get on board with this, is what really killed his chances here. Let's see. Hold on. Let's exit out of this. Let's see a little bit of this first. How did he possibly walk headfirst into that one, even though he said he understood it? This is quote tweeted I think this is Dan Saltman's account. I'm not sure, like his alt account. I could be wrong. Hassan's old tweets. Like it's either Dan Saltman's account or it's just like a random DGG or whatever. Hassan said Plattner could still be redeemed if he changed and comes out to oppose rape, just like how he supported Plattner's redemption about everything else in his past.
Bro, he said he changed and opposes rape now. Why don't we just forgive him? I like that. I know what you're trying to do here. I know what you're trying to say here, right? Like, I think redemption even for someone like that is possible. It's just that he has done nothing of the sort. Okay?
Now, to be fair with the context here, the general idea is like rehabilitation, redemption should be like an option for people. He's way too soft on Plattner here, in general. From like everything that I've seen of how he reacted to the story, anything like taking up like a huge wall. Yeah, it's definitely compromise. He's definitely a compromised person. But yeah, people can be redeemed. It's just like, what is your redemption? What is like proper redemption too? Well, proper redemption would be holding yourself accountable. Proper redemption would be not actually wasting our fucking time and putting yourself in a position to try to be a representative of a specific party, especially when like your actions, your numerous actions, have gone against our morals and values and in the first place. So even if you like meaningfully stood for like all the things that you're saying you're standing for, you're like a detriment. Your reputation is a detriment. You yourself, your past is a detriment at that point. This is politics. It's pragmatism too, where like we can't have you in this spot. Like if you want to do redemption, you know, make amends with like your victims in the best way. Hold yourself accountable. Go to fucking prison. You know, I don't know. Give away like a good amount of money to the people that you harmed over in Iraq. Whatever that entails. This is not the place. It's not the place, man. Graham Plattner appeals to the kind of left of center but masculine oriented type of people. I think they really wanted someone like him to be in office to confirm dark woke or some shit. Yeah. Like it's the vibe. It's like the vibes is what is like appealing to a specific group of people. That if you're trying to sell to a specific group of people that would normally probably not like listen to that perspective, if it was coming from a less chud type. Like I think this is what these people wanted out of Graham Plattner, but it's like the reputation in of itself, the background in of itself is just too overwhelmingly filled with red flags and disgusting behavior, where it's like this guy is like an avid liar too. This guy's an avid fucking liar. And like when you really like take a full look into his past and like the people that he surrounds himself with, it's like would he even really do the things that he's saying he's going to do? And is he meaningfully anti-war? I don't think so.
Oregon State University professor, Dr. Jason Johnson. He is an MS Now political contributor and host of the podcast A Word with Jason Johnson. Boston Globe associate editor, James Pindle. Amanda Littman is president and co-founder of the organization Run for Something. And Michelle Goldberg is an opinion columnist within the New York Times. All right, James, let's talk about the process here. The party seems to be waiting for Plattner to drop out in order to announce their next move. But Plattner, his campaign, they want to know the process before he drops out. How does all of this resolve?
Look, right now we're watching a public negotiation, no matter if people like that or not. I can understand the sentiment of people saying that an accused rapist should not be able to dictate what happens in the future. He may not, but right now they are certainly arguing.
Listen, it's 2026. Rapists get away with far more than they should. Yes, rapists basically run the world. Yeah, that's the unfortunate truth of the matter. Yeah.
What the contours that would look like and how exactly do they prop up the folks they want. Look, the dynamic in Maine is pretty simple when it comes to Democratic politics. There's been a moderate sort of cabal that has run the state Democratic politics for a very long time. Graham Plattner just ripped the Band-Aid on that. And now he's trying to say, look, I got 72% of the vote. This is a different type of politics. And the one thing that he definitely does not want is to go back to that moderate establishment cabal type of politics, and he's concerned about it. Whether or not he gets to dictate those terms, again, is what we are seeing right now. And this could go until Monday at 4:45 p.m., though it does appear that the Plattner campaign does understand the writing is on the wall, and they have basically no path to go down their own to defeat Susan Collins.
There's what the Plattner campaign wants. There's what the state party wants. You were just in Maine. What do voters want?
It's so funny, too, because, like, you run with candidates like Plattner, it's, like, basically self-destructive. Like, you're, like, your reputation in and of itself is like destroying, and you're letting Susan Collins run away with the W just by default, basically, in a way, unless you like replace the fuck out of them. Let's get our shit together, guys. Let's get our shit together. Like, why did we let this guy get in the position that we let him get in? They kept saying like the DSA didn't endorse Plattner in the first place, but it's like the wording, the specific language didn't outright endorse, but it recommended voting for Plattner, there's not that much of a meaningful distinction now, is there? Overall, it's like on the technicality, it's like, well, we don't glowingly endorse this guy, but like he's our option. Let's vote for him. And it's like, why didn't you go for somebody with a more cleaner, background? Why not? With the same policies, you have plenty of those like candidates out there as is. We've got those candidates out there.
What Democrats want? My house is 6 minutes away from Grant Platter's house in Down East Maine.
Really, it's just vibes, man. It's just vibes. It's like, stop.
The voters Democrats want is to defeat Susan Collins. That is definitely the goal. And while I understand the sentiment of these two dynamics at play within the Democratic Party, which you see, frankly, all around the country, there is a certain cynicism here. On the one hand, Platter does not trust the state Democratic Party to have his back or to put together a process that won't lead to more an establishment Mills type of person. At the same time, if they do, at this point, just 100 or so days away from the general election, pick the most electable candidate, it's my read that a lot of the folks who are big Platter backers will obviously fall in line and not support Susan Collins.
Amanda, you posted this on social media. Graham Plattner shouldn't be a United States Senator, and neither should Susan Collins. And I really hope there's a way for both of those things to be true. Your sense of what that might look like?
No, I think this is a moment where we have to make sure we're building a process that Maine voters can be a part of. I think what James was saying was absolutely right. They do not want Susan Collins. They want something new. There's a reason that Plattner was able to get something like 1% of Mainers volunteering for his campaign. He galvanized people, even with everything they knew about him during that primary. So when we look forward to what comes next, there has to be a process for Maine voters to feel like they have some buy-in for who's going to fill that seat, because it is too dangerous for Susan Collins to win re-election.
I think also is the idea that like he had such a like controversial like reputation, and that he was just able to push along and chug along anyway up until this point. That like there was like this like willingness, because it's like, wow, like he's almost got that Trump effect, you know? Well, it's like, well, we see where the line is here. The line ends here, and it should have ended earlier, but the line ends here in terms of the Trump effect for like, you know, a democratic socialist like candidate, you know.
There seems to be sort of the ghost of Biden-Harris pass haunting this process.
There's like there's too much wiggle room for like nuance, and there's too much of an American supremacist like mind state in terms of his actual like military history, like the Blackwater stuff. It's like too much of like a neglect of like, oh, what do you actually do there? What was your actual work there? Like, all right. There's too much wiggle room over there that people were like opportunizing off of that. Like, it's like the lack of like understanding of like the actual actions that this guy has committed.
Within the party itself.
Well, I think that's what Plattner was able to capitalize on, that people do not trust the party institutions. They do not want to feel like a candidate is being opposed from some elite up top. They want it to come from them. And if we are going to have a chance at flipping that seat, which again, we badly need to do to control the Senate and make sure that Trump does not get his guaranteed Supreme Court justices that he wants, we have to find a candidate that they can get behind.
You have been on this journey with voters, Michelle Goldberg. Where are you now?
I mean, I think it's heartbreaking, you know, not for Plattner, but for all the people who believed in him. And I think it's maybe hard to quite grasp from outside the state how much so many Maine voters invested in this campaign. I mean, there's a sense, I think, among a lot of people who are furious, rightly furious, at the way that this is all unfolded, that he was maybe recruited and imposed by out-of-state progressive activists. And there's a part of that story that's true. But the other, none of this, we wouldn't be here if he hadn't caught fire with people. You know, if you weren't seeing these huge, at least for Maine, rallies, if you weren't seeing people, you know, kind of turn out and feel deeply invested. And again, that's what makes this such a betrayal and so heartbreaking for those people. And, you know, to what Amanda said, I think that those, you know, no one cares, I think, what Graham Plattner wants to happen next. But those people's aspirations, the party should be trying, I think, in as much as it can to give them some of what they want, which means, you know, not Graham Plattner, but also not Janet Mills, right? They really didn't want
his like exit, like his exit, his dropout, like monologue. It basically alludes to like this stuff being like false allegations and him saying like, I was targeted by the Zionist entity. I was targeted by, it's like, it is true, you were targeted by them, but you know, your reputation, things can be, they can use things that are true about you to actually, you know, take you down a peg, you know? So he was like playing a little victim game or whatever of like, oh, you know, they were just using whatever they could find. I didn't plan to get into politics, but like I just kind of did.
Mills is the governor. She's 78 years old. The Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in Washington tried to clear a path from her by telling other people not to run. And so you have these mistakes that the progressives made, absolutely. But you also, I think, have some mistakes that the establishment made that left the path open for him.
Dr. Jason Johnson, what is the lesson here? And I don't ask that in a Monday morning quarterback kind of way. I ask it because I think it has to inform the process moving forward.
Alicia, this is not Monday morning quarterbacking. This was the Sunday pregame show, right? Because you had a lot of people who said, and many people of color and many women, when Graham Plattner was on the rise, when he was the boy crush of all the mainstream Acela media people, there were people pointing out, hey, he has a neo-Nazi tattoo. Hey, he said all of these crazy racist things. Hey, there's a history here of inappropriate and abusive behavior towards women. All of these things were apparently there, but you still had people in the state who said that's fine because he's this rough and tumble white guy with a redemption story. But as we heard, and I thought this was excellent with Lawrence O'Donnell last night, even his rough and tumble background story was a bunch of bull. He's not a regular oyster farmer. He primarily provides oysters to his mother's restaurant. He came from a wealthy background. The lesson here is that people need to understand what actual candidates are supposed to be about. You can't just be in love with this.
Also, he chose, even being opposed to the Iraq war, he chose to go and, you know, kill Iraqis in the Iraq war, knowing that it was wrong. These are like deliberate actions. These are like specific, like, huge red flags, indicators of like a sociopathic, like crazy fucking person that is out for himself for the most part and does not, like even knowing when something is wrong, he'll do something wrong anyway for his own satisfaction.
This image of this man in the woods, Justin Timberlake white guy, you got to find somebody who's actually legitimately connected to the state. And I'm not saying that Maine voters weren't right in wanting something new. I understand they don't want Susan Collins, they don't want Janet Mills, but if you can overlook clear character flaws.
Don't worry, Plattner, I'm sure Trump has a position in ICE for you or something like that, you know?
Huge gaps in someone's story just because you want to project this fantasy onto someone. This is what ends up happening. And I had said before, if he did manage to get elected, he was going to be another Kristen Sinema, he was going to be a Joe Manchin, or he was going to be John Fetterman.
James, as this conversation now turns to who could potentially replace Plattner should he formally drop out, the internet had a lot of ideas. One of those ideas was noted historian Heather Cox Richardson, so much so.
But even if he wasn't going to be any of those people, which was a realistic possibility, like it's just like you can't have, you know, your representative have that kind of history as in like serious rape allegations, sexual allegations, and then like the Blackwater history. I'm hearing like very crazy shit about that stuff too, like which would not even remotely surprise me. Like you just can't have that as your representative. You can't. It's just like it's not even just an optics or pragmatics thing. It's just like just disgusting. Just you can't have that.
She decided to make her
can't just like let that kind of go, you know.
Stack video about this very topic. Take a listen.
I am not a good candidate for the Senate race in Maine. Running for elected office is not my skill set. Or rather, running I think I could probably do, but actually doing the job is a different thing. And that's not a skill set I have.
Aside that the same people who were sort of fan fictioning her into running also think she would in fact be excellent and that her skills are applicable. I wish I saw that humility from more people whose names were in contention. Talk us through who is still at this moment a potential replacement.
I mean, it was interesting. I mean, she makes $1 bazillion doing what she does, and she has tenure. But, you know, if you go around to the main Democratic, say, local websites for their town or their county, they say subscribe to Heather Cox Richardson's newsletter. She's popular with the base, and she's, like, really good friends with Janet Mills.
Outsiders, you got Heather Cox, Dan Kelvin, Jordan Wood. I don't know too much about any of these people, but vaguely what I've been hearing is Troy Jackson is like got similar-ish policies for the most part.
It's fun, but look, let's get real here.
Hopefully Troy Jackson doesn't have like this crazy reputation.
The folks you have on the screen are sort of the main contenders. Remember, this is going to be a 2-week sprint. So people can talk all they want about endless debates and endless town hall meetings. That is not going to happen. This is very quick. They have to come up with a replacement by the 27th. And we still don't know the process exactly how this is going to work. So when Graham Plattner or his allies are calling into the state party, there are legit questions, same questions I have, exactly how this is going to work. But look, Troy Jackson, you put on the screen, was endorsed by Bernie Sanders to run for governor. He was aligned very much with Graham Plattner. They campaigned together nonstop.
Okay.
He's going to have.
He's got
that
an
track.
endorsement from Bernie. Aligned with Graham Plattner on what though?
Nareem Shah, you saw there, he was very popular, has high favorability ratings. A lot of concerns, though, in terms of insiders and what he actually believes. And then remember, this is an insider game. So Shenna Bellows, who's been around for a long time, actually ran against Susan Collins before and got smoked, but that was in a Republican year in 2014. She's a Secretary of State, ran for governor, obviously very popular too. So there's going to be a number of folks in this mix, but I think that's pretty much a finite list of who could be possibly in contention. But hey, who knows?
Can you get an idea of Troy Jackson policies? Oh my god, can I not? Policies, anything like that. Addresses his past support of Graham Plattner. Files paperwork to potentially replace Plattner if he steps down. Let's get it like.
All right, as promised, joining us, former Maine Senate President Troy Jackson. He officially announced that he wants to replace Graham Plattner as the Democratic nominee for Senate. Thank you very much for being with us, Troy. I'm sure you just heard that debate between my guests there, Paul Rakoff and Jamie Harrison. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think at least one person there is not accurate. I mean, in Maine, I fought to let independents actually vote in our primaries. We had a record number of independents, I think 75%, that chose a Democratic ticket. They wanted to be involved, and they were, and I hope they're involved in this convention process, too.
How do you appeal to independents? Graham Plattner had the Democrats locked up, but it did appear that he might have been struggling with some independents, and some folks that might have been tired of Susan Collins. The polling was tighter than the Democrats thought it should be toward the end there. So what's your message?
Well, as far as independents go, I mean, I got elected as an independent my first term. It wasn't until I got down there that I actually started seeing how the parties operated that it was important to me as a Labor Democrat to become a Democrat. But I come from Mercer County. I mean, I represented Susan Collins down. I'm not the same as Susan, but I'm, what they...
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. Left gives its candidates some wiggle room. When was this? 2025? Plattner also worked as a contractor for Constellus, a successor to the security company Blackwater, which has angered some online activists, hasn't kept the influential progressive and national policies from endorsing. And he outright lied about this. He just outright lies about this, apparently. Yeah. So I don't even know why you would do that. I never worked for Blackwater. It's like, yeah, it's like technically I've never worked for Blackwater, but it's like directly connected. So yeah, you did. It says a 6 months in Afghanistan in 2018 as a State Department security contractor revealed how America's wars have become a corporate money grab.
On your service and then also your time with.
I remember this was like soft pedaled too. I remember this. It was Ryan Grimm soft pedaling this.
The Blackwater offshoot with Constellus, I think it was called. One of them. So from Halal Flow says, like, how does someone with your worldview end up working for Blackwater? I think a lot of people on the left would find that helpful to hear. They're worried you might be another Fetterman. Man, Fetterman is haunting.
There's a lot of trauma. I feel it too. There's a lot of trauma there.
He says, but I don't think you are. There were already signs of who Fetterman was when he was running and caving to DMFI, pro-Israel lobby.
Yeah, not to mention that whole incident where he tried to murder a random black guy in his neighborhood.
There was that as well. Maybe a little more. He said you touched on this a bit.
Aged so badly.
During your last appearance on the show when you talked about your U.S. military service, but we didn't go into much into the State Department security contractor. So who did you work for, and why? And for people who are skeptical of American empire, why should that not be disqualified?
So I never worked for Blackwater. This is I see this everywhere, and I'm always like, oh, for God's sake. The company that we all know is Blackwater, the one that Jeremy Scahill wrote about back in the late 2000s. That company, Eric Prince's little kind of warlord fantasy, that company essentially went away after 2012.
Okay. So it's a contractor for Constellus, a successor to the security company Blackwater. Let's see. Got no ball bag, for instance, rival stars. Where's the Plattner part in here? Can we not? Can you fuck off? Can you fuck off? Thank you. Plattner also worked as a contractor, which has angered some online activists. He hasn't kept the influential progressive and national politics from endorsing him. He was a security contractor for several months and left after becoming completely disillusioned with America's deeply failed foreign policy and endless wars. His experience overseas uniquely prepares him to fight back against the broken and corrupt foreign policy. Also, yeah, it's like, that's the other thing, is the consistency of like being disillusioned, where it's like, I'm against the Iraq war. Let me join the Iraq war. I had experience and I had so much fun, you know, killing Iraqis or you know, it's like this competitive spirit, but like, you know, I see what it does to other people. Like, so it made me disillusioned. I see how it affected me or how I felt used or whatever. And it's like, dude, he's like all over the place with his story and how, his feelings on the matter of like his own experience and like being like being a grunt security Blackwater contractor.
I consider a pickup truck progressive because I fight for issues that are important statewide. I just came through a gubernatorial primary where I was outspent 2-1 by all of my opponents, but still won Aroostook County, won Penobscot, won Bangor and Portland, two of the three biggest cities. So I just feel like, you know, from one end of the state to the other, I'm going to appeal to people that are looking for a new type of government, something that I've been fighting for my entire life in the state legislature, to change the way that things are going for everyday working class people that feel like they've been getting screwed.
Well, let me ask you about Plattner. You supported him. You bragged about being one of the first supporters of him. Why did you stick with him for so long? Why did you stick with him after the Nazi tattoo? Why did you stick with him after the New York Times article and the aggressive women stuff? Stick with him after the Reddit posts that were arguably racist and sexist? I know he denies the sexual misconduct allegations, but why did you stay with him for so long?
Well, the Nazi tattoo and the Reddit posts, I mean, you know, I didn't know. I mean, I've never been on Reddit, but, you know.
Listen, it's part of your job in politics to be aware of things that are popping up about the people that you're like helping out or endorsing, you know, like like you should be aware of like the reputation of the people that you're around. I don't go on Reddit. Okay, bro. I know these politicians have to lie or whatever, but come on, bro.
People talked about those things, and he turned around and said, you know, that these were times whenever they were dark for him, and, you know, he'd grown and all this stuff.
Actually, you don't have to lie. Just say, like, oh, it's gonna look bad for him anyway.
They were, you know, a different time period for him, and I understood, you know, that
it's
people
a different time period, guys. He's changed.
But, you know, I think the biggest thing about this was the issues that...
It could be true, too. Like, this could be, like, a matter of fact that he's never been on Reddit, but it's like, that's irrelevant here to whether or not you've been on, whether or not you have been on Reddit or not. I don't use Reddit very much, but there's plenty of like different things that like I can find out because Reddit like it's posted on Reddit and it like gets out there as news or whatever on YouTube or Twitter or whatever. It's so Weasley, dude. It's so Weasley, man. It really is. Charge my keyboard.
Graham was talking about, and bringing people out on things like Medicare for all, and health insurance, you know, prescription drugs, workers' rights. These are the things that, you know, we've all believed in and wanted a huge change in, and certainly the people here in Maine do. You know, those earlier things, you know, he had plausible reasons that he said that they happened, but when it came to a credible sexual assault, it became clear that was it. It was, you know, a red line that I wasn't going to cross. And you know, the other thing about it was Graham
once I couldn't wiggle out of it. Once I couldn't use any plausible deniability. Once I figured like, well, that's a wrap. Like it's not really much I can do to sweep up for this guy. You know, like that's when I decided. That's when I actually decided. You know, I'm getting off board on this.
Point blank. That there was nothing in his past that I had to worry about, and he lied to me, and he lied to a lot of us.
I asked you about independents, how you're going to appeal to them. I want to ask you now about progressives, because there is worry that the progressive side of the Democratic base there in Maine might not be enthusiastic and might not show up. Here is one voter expressing his concerns about you.
Troy Jackson is not progressive. He voted against so many bad things like gay marriage, abortion. He did that and now wants to say he's progressive. If they put up Troy Jackson, if they put up Shanna Bellows, I'm voting for Susan Collins. And I hate to say that as an independent, but Troy Jackson and Shanna Bellows aren't going to be able to do anything in that federal government.
I know that gentleman says he's an independent, but he's expressing progressive values and beliefs there, so respond to him.
Well, I mean, honestly, you know, he is accurate. I voted against those things over 15 years ago. Since then, you know, I found out, I've understood. I mean, I've always been someone that believed that healthcare is a human right, And it became clear to me after some time that abortion, reproductive rights access is a human right. It's healthcare. It's people that, deserve to have that. And when it...
If like you're making these votes like 15 years ago, it's like, I can easily just read this as still like a cynical, like a politician thing where it's like he doesn't actually like support any of these things. It's more about like his party endorsing it. That's why he makes the switch, so it's hard to trust him off that. That being said, it's like 15 years ago or whatever, and if you have like a more progressive, somebody who seems to lean more towards the party or whatever, like that's probably your better option compared to like Susan Collins at the moment.
Dawned on me.
So I don't know. I don't know about that take from that independent voter there.
I became a real advocate for that. Over the last 10 years, I've had 100% voting rights for Planned Parenthood. I've sponsored or co-sponsored some of the most progressive abortion access in the entire country and fought vehemently for it. And I make no bones about a bad vote years ago coming out of a rural area, a very Catholic area. But people are going to have all kinds of thoughts about these things. But I have a 20-year record of votes like that, but a whole bunch of votes that, people like in the DSA think that I'm very progressive. In the end, I'm fighting for people. I'm fighting for people across Maine. You can call them whatever votes you want, but in the end, I think they're the things that actually drive people, make people's lives better. And it's part of the frustration that people in Maine have right now.
I don't think this guy's very compelling as a speaker, personally. I don't think he's like horrible, but I don't think he's that charismatic.
That's not working for them. And I feel like that too. I'm the Senate president for the last 6 years, the second highest ranking official in Maine, and I'm frustrated that
say what you want about Plattner. I think there was a reason. Like there was a little bit. He was a bit overrated. I'm not gonna lie, but he's got a little bit more charisma in the tank.
Work the way it should, and that's what this race is about. Is making sure that we have a government that fights for Mainers.
You do have a 100% rating from Planned Parenthood in New England. I am curious about your the way that you switched. Tell me about your enlightenment on the issues of abortion, on gay marriage, on gun rights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are major issues that, I don't know if we're going to have enough time to talk about all the variables, but, on abortion, I was always conflicted, coming out of when I first started in the legislature. And I had conversations with people, that explained to me how important these issues were. And like I said, I was never unsure about people having health care, believing in people having universal health care. And like I said, when it became clear to me that reproductive rights is healthcare, then it became clear with all those conversations I had from people that really struggled, that this is something that I had to do. And since then, I've been very big
It's
stalwart.
so like boring too. Like it's so vague and nebulous of like why he actually changed his mind. He's like, I've just had a bunch of conversations. This could be true, but like it's not really a compelling like actual like story to any of this stuff or like a breakthrough moment or whatever.
On that.
Yeah,
gay marriage, again, I said it was the worst vote I ever had. I immediately was sorry I did that. And I've spent a long time trying to make up for that. And as far as gun rights, Lewiston changed everything. Second biggest massacre or something like that. 31 people's families in one night. And it just became clear to me that people that had health problems didn't deserve to have firearms. And the laws that we had failed the state, and we had to do more.
Troy Jackson.
Let's see. How are people feeling about this guy? Why did you stick with Platter for so long? And then a deep exhale of guilt. No good answer coming. Compared to Platter, the replacement candidates are wet paper towels. Yeah. God, Maine's fucked, isn't it? Jeez. Yeah, I got no good options. You were cooked. You were cooked. You were so cooked when you decided to go with the Plattner route. Set yourself up for failure. You're just setting yourself up there. Let's see. Trump on Plattner allegations. It's really a question of whether or not you believe the woman. A lot of people say big falsehoods. Wow. He's one of us. He's one of us. One of us. One of us. Dude, this is Trump right now. One of us. One of us.
As I go up the Democrats. Democrat. You know the Democrats?
Speaking of Democrats,
You're really trying to make the Democrats thing work. It's not working, Brody. It's not catching on. It's not really catching on. MAGA's not even on board with the Democrats meme,
do you think that the Democrats should be able to pick a replacement?
Bro lost a step, bro. Bro thinks he's still in the game, like shooting up like them hoops, dunking them hoops like it was the old days. bro, like you ain't him no more. You ain't like that no more.
Meant for Graham Plattner.
Hey BPJ, you've been holding frame in these DGG convos. Well done. Yeah, another thing I'm gonna do is with those. I'm basically not gonna have too many more conversations on the whole, like all that stuff. Like I'm just tired. It's super redundant. Like we've had the conversation like a billion times on our stream. We had the conversations with these people. Most of it goes around in a circle and it's like a big circus. Again, I reiterate for the third time or whatever, like I'm just like the future conversation I'm going to have about that is like one or two more with Dan or something like that. Depends on how that goes. And then like maybe one or two if Darius wants to, but overall I'm pretty much done with that topic entirely. I'm also just like separating myself distinctly from like any other community servers or whatever related to like Snark Left stuff or like DGG or like drama. It's just boring at this point, and I don't really get anything out of like having those like even tangential connections at this point. When I get into arguments with people, I'm like associated with like so many other different people that I agree with, which is somewhat understandable. If it's just like not worth it. It's very fucking boring and annoying, and I don't want to defend like other people's deplorable behavior in of itself that I don't even agree with. It's very fucking aggravating and annoying at a certain point.
Replacement for
I think you should see if you could talk current events or IP with them. Really could influence their audience on real issues if you do well. Yeah, I was thinking with Dan in particular, if he was open to the conversation naturally, just I think besides the fact that I think Dan is like effectively a Zionist, even if he's not like really like, even if he says like he's like not really like a big fan of Israel in of itself, he's got like such a like obsession with like targeting lefties or whatever. I think like I can have like somewhat I feel like I could have somewhat of a cordial more nuanced conversation on IP with him or something like that. I think that's possible. I don't know that for certain, but like I feel like it's maybe possible.
For Graham Plattner, he's had all these new allegations that have come out. Now Democrats are talking about picking a replacement for him. Should they be able to do that?
They're picking what?
A replacement for Graham Plattner if he steps out of the race.
So he won the primary.
And now there's these new allegations.
It's very hard for them to do.
He loves winners too. He was like, he won the primary. Zoran, I love Zoran. He's a winner. He loves winners. Like he's very winner focused. So he's like, Plattner, he's a winner. He's a winner. They're just trying. They're taking him down. They're taking him down. He's a winner though.
It's very hard for them to do.
He can't help it. Even if like he fucking hates their politics or anything like that, like he just can't help but like smile and just like be like, that person's really that person was really taken off, which is true about Plattner. There was a lot that he was bulldozing through.
And so you question whether or not you believe the woman. A lot of people say big falsehoods. It's he's in a bind. He's in a bind. But should they be able to do it? Well, I guess he's going to lose. I would imagine he's going to lose. It's very interesting when a Republican woman came out with the same charge, nobody believed her. When this woman came out, everybody believed her, right, though? Did you get any pictures of it, though? You don't want them. They wouldn't sell, though.
Did. That's rough. Judge clarifies, yes, Trump was found to have raped E. Jean Carroll. What a guy, man. So, that's Brody, rapist Brody. Rapist Brody. He couldn't help but be like, he was kind of spitting, but I gotta remember, he's my opposition. He's like, but when the Republican lady came out, no one believed the Republican lady because the Republican lady is a Republican. Didn't this lady leave the left because she felt people on the internet didn't take her sexual assault seriously? Dude, this was insane. This
Because
Anna
it places
is
us
insane
in
for
this.
like, and not in a good way. I'm not saying this like this is like a disgusting fucking thing to say.
Because it places us in this unbearable position of having to adjudicate something that should have been adjudicated in a court of law if this actually took place.
Oh man, it's almost as if like most rape stories, most cases where somebody like is a victim of this kind of thing, it doesn't get adjudicated in court because you know of a multitude of different things. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Anna is aware of this. Am I supposed to just go off and say, well, Anna, that homeless person didn't actually sexually assault you? Am I just supposed to like be like, you're a liar because it's not adjudicated in court or anything like that? We didn't really go through like who's in it right, who's in it wrong, who's telling the truth, who's not.
If someone entered my home and forcibly raped me, I would not allow the individual who forcibly raped me, that's violent, right, to remain in my home and sleep it off. But that is...
That's what you would do. You say you would do, but you understand most people do not interact like you. Most people are terrified after an experience. They're traumatized after an experience like that. They're afraid for their own safety. What if I do this? What if he catches me? What if things get really violent and I get beaten up or killed or anything like that? Dude, you're like a total subhuman demon. Holy shit, this is like grotesque.
That is what she did. She alleges that he was so drunk that she didn't want to tell him to leave because he might harm someone on the road. He just forcibly raped you, right?
Yeah? That can still apply. He's drunk. You still wouldn't want like the person going out. You could have complicated feelings on the person too, especially when they're drunk. And you're like, I don't know if this person meant to like harm me as much as they harm me. They did, but like I don't know if this person like meant this. There could be complicated feelings, and then also to top off the fact that she would say, "Well, I don't want you going out there and like hurting other people." Yeah, you don't want people to drive drunk on the road. There's no need for anyone else to get hurt in this process. Yeah, that's actually relatively understandable.
Call the cops, or more importantly, get the hell out of the house. But she did neither one of those things. Neither one of those things.
Yeah.
Because it places...
It's great. It's cool. Disgusting. Most people do not call the cops when something like this happens. Remember, most people do not. They have like internal crazy like feelings about, especially when it happens to somebody like they're like, especially when it's like somebody's drunk or whatever. Like they want to think the best of the person that they like trusted for quite a while to not be like harming them. It's just like victim blaming basically. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like these are like the kind of things you would say if you're trying to doubt the story and downplaying the story. It's like we have enough to get a gauge that this is like a real thing that happened to this person. Like there's enough proof substantially for this to be the case. It's just like grotesque, like rape denial. TYT on YouTube, but a poll to their audience 2 hours ago is about whether Plattner would have stayed in the race, and 24% voted yes, he should have stayed in the race. These people are ill. Yeah. Least you stare into the abyss, then you become one with the abyss. Alright, let's go to the Sony stuff. Sony is struggling immensely. Almost every post PlayStation is making is being community noted due to a massive campaign against their proposed termination of physical games. Some are even titled Purchase Warning. Purchase Warning? Jesus Christ. You gonna fall down? Chill, phone. Here are just a few of the notes that have appeared in the last day. Purchase Warning. Sony's sudden pivot to digital without informing partners. Yeah, they didn't inform their partners, by the way. They didn't do this. They didn't inform like the people that were working for the company on the disc too, stuff like that. Like they weren't working with any of the partners in terms of like coordination. They were just like, yeah, we're announcing this. Like everyone had to find out like the same way. Sony sudden a pivot to digital without informing partners, its poor digital ecosystem in pivotal markets, desperation to erase retail and resale, and executives selling off stock suggests massive corporate instability. This content may not last long. There will not be a physical version of this game as per Rockstar. Sony sudden pivot to digital without it's the same one. Okay. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Sony's getting like tons of shit, and like they should get way more shit. More reports why Sony is trying to end physical disc. Quote, they want to cut out the middleman to make more profit per sale, like remove Walmart cuts, etc. So like, of course, capital. They want capital. They want more accumulation. They're greedy fucks. Sony thinks the fan base will not switch platforms. They can just do what they please without losing fans. This is the sad thing, is that like this is like my cynical like outlook, like my black pill take, where it's like unfortunately, hopefully this is not the case. Hopefully we can make like a distinction. Hopefully this pissed off enough people, just enough to where like things can actually meaningfully change. I think they said they need like more than like 500,000 people to like unsub from their PlayStation subscription service and stuff like that, and like cutting off like giving money to the company in of itself for it to like actually meaningfully make them want to change their mind about the direction that they're going in. Isn't this going into effect in 2028? Yes, but like this is the time of like to stop them from like actually making this like a thing that happens. We still got like a year and a half at least, nearly like a year, close to a half, but yeah. To basically just like bully the shit out of this company to make this like not the case. To actually be like, how about you actually don't do this? How about we don't do this? They are convinced by ignoring this issue, their fans will just accept the changes and convert to 100% digital with time. And they've got a reason to think this. Ultimately, I do have to say this is unfortunately like a fact of the matter where, people just like shifted over to like casually like just accepting like the worst kind of like, greedy like things that all these corporations want to do to squeeze more money out of you. There's like one thing that like I immensely regret, and I think I'm gonna regret it with Marvel Rivals too, is that like I was playing like the Multiverses game, and remember Multiverses just kind of shut down. Now if you pull up Multiverses and you want to play that game, you can't play it online at all. Like there's no point in playing the game at all. It's like a live service game. And so when they shut it down, it's like all the things you spent money on, that you invested your time in, there's no point to it. Like, this is something that I'm going to have to learn for like future games that like I play in the future, where like I can't play these kind of games anymore, because there's no guarantee that these games will actually be worth the amount of money that you put in. For the experience of a time that you want to invest into the game, like actually play it. Luckily, I was kind of bored of the game at a certain point before it like shut down. But it's like once it like shuts down, it's like, especially as they add new stuff to it that like people didn't get a lot of time to play with the newer characters. It's like I never played with Lola Bunny or fucking Aquaman or whatever. Those were the last two characters, I think. And it's like, wow, like I would be fucking pissed. I'd personally be pissed. You invested like a lot of time into, especially if you had to buy the characters. That's the other thing. You had to buy the characters. At least with Marvel Rivals, when you're playing Marvel Rivals, it's more so like you're buying like skins and shit like that. Like each character, like It's the meta of the game. It's actually a lot grosser the way like the Multiversus game worked, where each character that came out, you had to purchase that character. It's not like Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers, okay, to be fair, Smash Brothers, you had to purchase your characters too, but it was after like they already released the game with like tons of characters already in the game in and of itself, and there was like a DLC pack. That's like a meaningful distinction to me. But every character that you release, and it's like a larger purchase for each character, like, and it becomes like more part of the meta as the game goes on. That's distinctly different enough, I think, for me. Like if you're purchasing like a DLC pack of like, how many characters did like Smash Ultimate have? It was like 7 or 8 or something like that. I can't remember. If it's like a pack of like 7 characters or five characters or however many that came out, it was like somewhere around 7. That's meaningfully distinct from like every single time like one character releases, you have to like purchase the character or whatever. And I think it ends up costing more in the long run for each character purchase. Sony thinks they are too big to have combination with fans. Talking to fans has no margin benefit, so they refuse to address fans and will keep doing so. I've lost all trust and goodwill with PlayStation. No words. What is happening right now? Horrible company. Yeah, so like this is like a spit in your face. They're spitting in your face, and you should spit back and like beat the shit out of them, metaphorically speaking, with a bat, metaphorically speaking, with spikes, metaphorically speaking, and put them onto let's see, the Mr. Guillotine. Yeah, metaphorically speaking. Yeah, this cannot stand. You can't allow shit like this to happen. You have to really beat the ever-loving shit out of this company, because they won't learn anything if it's just like, okay, we're just going to let this go after like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months even. No. Never let this go. Have the same amount of spite for Sony and what they're doing here as Destiny has for Hassan in general. But that's where your spite should go towards. Your spite should go towards disgusting billionaire corporations, greedily like squeezing every little dime that they can, and doing like rent seeking and shit like that. That's where your spite ought to go to. This is where all of your spite should go towards to. Yeah. Sony reportedly didn't inform any publishers or business partners before announcing the end of PlayStation Game Disc. If this is true, then people need to straight up be fired, because that is insane. According to a new report from High Chaos Run, Sony didn't inform publishers or business partners before announcing the end of PlayStation Game Disc. According to the outlet, Sony's decision to end physical PlayStation Game Disc production for new releases starting in 2028 was made without prior notice to many publishers, business partners, or even some regional PlayStation offices. The report cites anonymous sources who claim publishers were blindsided by the announcement, with one executive saying they were not informed despite a close working relationship with PlayStation. It also alleges that some regional teams, including PlayStation India, were unaware of the decision while continuing retail expansion discussions with local partners. They're doing this to undercut the competition. You can get used games and sometimes even new games for far cheaper physically than digitally. Yeah. It's a really disgusting practice. So, like what we have here. Sony president and CEO Hiro... wait. Did I already have this on here? Yeah, okay. Hiro Totoki sold over half of his company stock, a move that closely followed a highly controversial announcement regarding PlayStation's future. On July 3rd, he sold 225,000 shares, representing 56.5% of his holdings for approximately $4.73 million. Listen, that's the time. That's the time. That was good timing, buddy. Smart move here, buddy. Smart move here. This occurred merely days after PlayStation faced massive public backlash for announcing that all new games will be digital only starting in 2028. Who can blame them? Who can blame them? Sony has yet to acknowledge any of the backlash and has returned to posting after 6 days of silence as if nothing happened. No disc, no buy. Yeah. So like, if you got like, if you got your Sony president and CEO, did he make this decision in the first place, or is this like naturally gravitating towards this? Like, what kind of control does he have over this? Where he's like, okay, like I'm out. Like he must have been overwhelmed with a lot of people being like, no, we're going forward with this. He must have been like adamant against this, and he's like, okay, well. You know, if that's the case, yeah, it is some insider trading shit. Yes, he should lose money. No, not lose money. He should face legal consequences for this. But that being said, It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny that he was like, yeah, this is bad for us. This is really bad for us. What the fuck are we doing? I got some insider info from Sony for you. Their workers find out at the same time as the users, and many are very angry with the company. It's all been the doing of the top executives. Sony is racking up tons of lawsuits. Chaos reigns in the company. I never owned, I think... Did I ever own a PS2? I don't think so. I think I owned a PlayStation 1. And I played a PS2 because my cousin had a PS2. But I didn't play like a lot of PS2, but I did play PS2. I've never owned a PS3, never owned PS4, and I certainly never owned PS5. And thank God when PS5 came out, a lot of people still apparently can't afford a PS5 in general. Like, it was just like I had no interest in a PS5. Literally zero. Even the games for the PS5 where I'm like, that looks cool, but it was just like not cool enough where I was like, I want to invest in getting a PS5. I think the closest I ever came to thinking, wow, I kind of wish I had a PS5, unironically was and I was like, it wasn't that cool. It wasn't that cool. It was not worth purchasing a PS5 over. There's some games where I'm like it's like the Smash games, it's like I'll purchase a Switch for it, unironically. Is it Rift Apart? Is that the game? Rift Apart. Like, this was cool. This was cool.
It's okay. Just me.
We promise nothing nefarious.
I like the game. Is the gameplay?
The boundaries between the universes are coming undone.
Yo-ho, our time has finally come. It worked!
I don't know why. Like, I couldn't tell you why exactly Ratchet and Clank. I was just like,
wow.
I was like, you wanted to go back to that simple kind of like adventure game, and you're like, this looks fun. But it was like not like worth the actual purchase, you know.
We didn't follow that Lombax in his robo-pen across dimensions just to get stopped by some fuzzballs.
The graphics are pretty sick. It looks so good. It still looks so good. I wish I could play it on PC. It's just not as far as I'm aware. It's not on PC. It's like a PS5 exclusive kind of game. It was like Last of Us and God of War. I was like, I don't care about these games. I know people like those games, and I'm sure they're good in their own way. But I was like, nah, I just don't care. I ain't that invested in playing this. So, Queenman will sue for this. I avow all license agreements. Cringe. I would hope not. It's like legally speaking, it's like that's how it's structured. Where like, it's like, yeah, it's all like license agreements or whatever. Well, then like, re-up the license or some shit like that. or like refund the fucking money. Like if you're gonna like remove content that somebody buys, like movies or TV shows that people buy on your fucking platform, then like refund them their money or re-up the licenses. That was technically always in the contract. No one reads the terms of services for like any of these like for any of these consoles or like future agreements for your like Apple products or anything that you purchase like with like tons of technology, because it's like, bro, it's so overwhelming, and like there's tons of legalese of like all that, like there's so much to like go through where it's like you could be selling your fucking soul. You know, was that one South Park episode where somebody like just like signs over the it was like the terms of service or whatever, the league, yeah, the whole rule list, they just like agree to it, and it's like, well, you did agree to this, and now we get to put you in the human centipede thing. It was like, but no one reads that. There should be a more condensed version. I don't know if that like I don't know how that would exist exactly, but like there should be a more condensed like version of that, where somebody could just read that in like a reasonable amount of time and get an understanding of like what you're like agreeing to necessarily. Especially if like it's like stuff like that is like so long, you like some of it you probably wouldn't understand without like lawyers. Especially if it's like, I'm just trying to play a fucking game, okay, dude? The fuck is all this for? Sony is offering 50% to select users who are attempting to cancel PlayStation Plus. Sony is reaching new lows never thought to be possible. Don't give in. Don't give in. What was it? Hold on. Current plan expiration date 9/22/2026. Your subscription will end up reactivate subscription. I thought that was going to be an example of them offering it though. It's not 50% off their line. They just get their prices today. Make sure you call them out for it. They're getting greedy, and there's no need to be held accountable. And they need to be held accountable. Holy shit, what are these fucking prices? Holy. Classics catalogs, game trials. Wait, in terms of classics, do you just get the, if you pay $160 every 12 months every year, are you getting all the games? Is that how it works? Can somebody describe how the PS5, like, does anyone know? Like, you just get every game that's, like, on the little pass thing for, like, this $160 every 12 months? Ubisoft Classics, monthly games, exclusive discounts, exclusive packs, cloud storage. Exclusive discounts for what exactly? Too. That'd be interesting. Online multiplayer. This is just $80 every 12 months. Sony Pictures catalog, cloud streaming. Is Sony Pictures catalog the movies and stuff like that? I would imagine. Yeah, must be. So what's the game catalog and classics catalog? Is classics just like, what does that mean exactly? Is that like the bigger games, like their IP, bigger IPs? Interesting. Oh, I think I have a cat at the door. One second. I did not have a cat at the door. I was just hearing shit. Crazy. Oh, yeah. Wait, do we have any more on the Sony shit? Oh, yeah. We had videos to go over on the Sony shit. Yeah. It's on my document. So we have what? We have 2 Rockstar and Sony think you're stupid. GTA 6 numbers just leaked. It's a retail disaster, and politicians speak out.
As we await our first
Let's go over this room first.
real look of Grand Theft Auto 6 in action since May of 2025. Yes, it has been that long. There's a lot going on with GTA 6. A lot has been revealed the last couple of days, and we also just have a lot of new reports, such as Rockstar Games supposedly sitting down with employees who are threatening to go on strike. There's a union.
So I gotta, dude, it's chaos over there. How hard is it to just like not be like greedy filth and just like chill and just put out like a cool game? Just put out a cool game, put out a cool console. Psyop by a cat, yeah. There was a cat in my room, but after there was a cat outside begging because I had the door closed.
Unionization effort right now that has been a whole mess going back and forth for about a year or two now, and it kind of is hitting a boiling point right in the lead up to one of the biggest game launches of all time. Straightening that out kind of has to be done sooner rather
I'd
than
make
later.
GTA, dude, I would strike so hard that like all of them should be on strike, really. That like any further progress that they need to actually release this, you halt that shit even further. It's like, because personally, even if I'm gonna be real, even if I was excited to play Grand Theft Auto 6, which I have like literally zero interest in GTA 6, not gonna lie to you guys, I would not purchase that shit just out of principle at this point. I'd just be like, no, I just want to, I don't. Dude, I've been meaning to play Red Dead Redemption 2. And now I don't even want to purchase that shit, or like even Game Pass that shit, or nothing. Which I don't really play on consoles anymore. I only play on PC. I don't even know if Red Dead 2 is on like PC. But it's like, just out of principle, I'm just like, oh, fuck this company. Fucking gross ass company. No thanks, I'm good.
Later. But there is also
like, yeah, like you should just halt the progress of this entire fucking IP and this entire game and say, you know, how about we actually put this out on disc? How about we actually put this out on disc? How about we not charge this much for like extra fucking shit? How about you go fuck yourself? How about you go fuck yourself? You don't get, like, we don't actually don't need, you actually don't need, just play GTA 5. If you're going to play one of the GTA games, just play GTA 5 or some shit like that. Or go play Saints Row. Saints Row is still on Steam. Go play any other game.
pre-order numbers
why
coming.
Not? Why not at this point? Go play Cuphead or some shit. I don't know.
In from Microsoft, and they seemingly are pissed off about it.
Like, GTA 6 is not that good. It will never be. No game is ever that good where you should be like, you know, let me totally get fucked over here.
Because there's been reports saying that PlayStation GTA 6 pre-orders are like 8-1 to Xbox, and Xbox ain't too happy about that, as they even, weirdly enough, came out with their own public statement to Windows Central saying that that's not true. Grand Theft Auto 6 on Xbox is record-breaking pre-orders, and people should wait for real data, which is kind of bizarre. But when you have PlayStation and Rockstar Games having such a heavy marketing presence together, because Sony certainly coughed up a decent amount of cash for that partnership, and they are utilizing it to the maximum potential. That GTA 6 plays best on PlayStation 5 marketing slogan is being put on almost every single thing that Sony can find and come up with. But right now, something that we are seeing with GTA 6 pre-orders is that scalpers are already making money from Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh yeah, this shit ain't, it's not even going to be on PC. So I was never going to play this shit anyway. But it's like, I don't, like, what? I have an Xbox One that I only use to watch like movies or TV, basically at this point. I only play It says not even coming out on PC. I ain't buying no PS5. I think it's supposed to be out on Switch too, but like way later. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. GTA 6 isn't even coming with online, bro. Y'all spent how long on this fucking game, and it's not even coming out with the release of. What have you been doing? What have you been doing with this time that you've had to create this game? I don't know when they started officially making the game, but you've had long enough. You've had it long enough to get like. You already have like what, that GTA Online for the GTA 5 stuff. You already have the like layout of like what you would need to do. What like you already have the foundation. What the fuck is taking so long?
It's just kind of bizarre that this is happening for pretty much a digital-only release. But yes, on eBay, people are paying well over retail price to reserve a copy, even though Rockstar's official stock is not in short supply right now. Maybe it's because Rockstar's website kind of scared some people into thinking that this is like something they're going to run out of, so people are, I guess, going to eBay, but it's a bizarre thing. As this is reported by 80 Level, there were several reports that players have been purchasing GTA 6 pre-order copies from eBay sellers at prices above retail. The prices for resold copies vary from $90 to $120 on eBay, and overall range from above $85 to nearly $140. And yes, there are screenshots of actual eBay purchases happening. It's just
those scalpers out there, bro.
Truly bizarre. Even more so because of what we're about to get into and some of the data that's coming out from retailers, which paint a very unpleasant picture about how Grand Theft Auto 6 is doing with their code-in-a-box shit that they pulled. Now, we already know that a couple of retailers are just outright refusing to sell GTA 6 until there's a physical disc. This actually came from 2 indie retailers, one of the biggest ones that's still around. That was a very notable decision that went viral on social media, but GameStop and Co., those places are still selling the code-in-a-box. And some of these GameStops are now reporting that it has been a total disaster and just there's limited interest in this method. As Polygon reports, GTA 6 is shaping up to be a disaster for retailers. Whether it sells like hotcakes or flops, Rockstar's game could dictate the future of some store chains. And as they write, for stores like GameStop, which rely on sales and trade-ins of physical discs, the game's digital nativity isn't a minor detail, since news of
fans are painfully aware GTA 6 physical edition is actually just a code in a box. It's just so cringe. You might as well not even sell it in physical at all. You might as well not make the actual little case or anything, dude. What are you doing? For Rockstar, the controversy isn't really hurting its bottom line. Digital sales for the 99.99 Ultimate Edition version of the game are proving more popular than the standard $79.99 version. For stores like GameStop, which rely on sales and trade-ins of physical discs, games' digital nativity isn't a minor detail, since news of the lack of actual disc broke. GameStop workers are expressing worry that a digital-first GTA 6 puts the retail chain's future in jeopardy. Yeah.
The lack of actual discs broke.
These retail stores are getting completely fucked over by shit like this. It's crazy.
GameStop workers are expressing worry that a digital-first GTA 6 puts the retail chain's future in jeopardy. And it further mentions that at the very least, codes will be a pain for retail employees. GameStop workers claim that in general, they're expected to maintain high numbers for things like pre-orders, memberships, and warranties. Right now, many GTA 6 fans are wondering if pre-ordering the physical edition of the game is even worth it. And they actually have specific GameStop alleged employees that are talking about their experiences thus far trying or getting people to pre-order GTA 6. The first one we have is from an assistant store leader saying, because it wasn't physical and we didn't have the Ultimate Edition, we ended a day that I fully expected to be flooded with 500 pre-orders with 5 pre-orders. My mental prepared itself for nothing. And it forgot to mention that 3 of the pre-orders only did it for the map, which is not confirmed at all, and they acknowledge this. Nobody knows if there is going to be a map, and it feels like something, if there was going to be a map, that Rockstar Games would have advertised by now, which again, it just points to the greed that has happened here with this physical edition, which isn't really a physical edition by any means.
Yeah, you're probably not getting no map, man. Let's be honest. You're probably not getting no map. Like, they're not going to do the extra work. If they're not going to make a disc, they ain't going to make no map.
Another person saying, I'm good. I enjoyed sympathizing with customers when I told them we can't pre-order the Ultimate Edition. I didn't get a single pre-order for GTA because of that, and I laughed my ass off. Another person...
They can't pre-order the Ultimate Edition at GameStop? They can only do the standard? Dude. Our store is at 11 and our store goal is 200. Oh my god. Oh, same here. Our store goal by Sunday is 200. The goal for today was 50. We ended with 30, but we would have had way more if there was an actual physical copy of the game.
Person and senior guest advisor saying our store is at 11 and our store goal is...
That's real rough. That's some real rough shit right there. Holy fuck.
200. Somebody's also responding saying, same here, our store goal by Sunday is 200 and the goal for today was 50. We ended with 30, but we would have had way more if there was an actual physical copy of the game. Another individual saying, it really wasn't crazy for me. I had more people asking about the One Piece OP17 cards that are coming out in August than GTA 6, less than 5 pre-orders. It was a really standard day. The phone didn't even blow up. Another person saying, an employee, I had 11 pre-orders yesterday. Only one of them was GTA LMAO. A manager saying, I've already been reprimanded for the lack of pre-orders at my store. We literally...
Yeah, wait. Why would you get reprimanded for it? What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do at that point? There's not interest, man. Why you get reprimanded because people are expressing a disinterest because the thing's out of your control? It's just so crazy you're reprimanded for shit like that. I'd be like, fuck you. Why don't you try to sell this shit? Go ahead. Okay, boss man. Why don't you try to sell this shit? See how that works for you. See how that works for you, buddy. We literally kept a tally of the reasons why they said they didn't want it here. Here's the results. Pre-ordered 3. No physical disc, 19. Oh, yeah. So, like, pre-ordered already 3. No physical disc, 19. Too expensive, 8. Buying elsewhere, 24. Not interested, 38. 38 people saying, fuck this. Fuck this game.
He kept a tally.
It's almost like my brain knew something like this was, like, on the horizon. Way back when I played GTA 5. And I was just like literally the day that it came out, the day it came out, I bought it at GameStop, and I played it for like literally 3 hours, and I was like, yeah, I don't like this very much. I'm not that invested. I don't care about this. It's not so much that it's like a bad game. It's like I just don't care, and I just turned it in literally the same day. And a GameStop employee looked at me like confused that I turned it in. I was just like, It resonates aura. Its aura mocks me. Rockstar's aura mocks me. The energy was not there. GT Gay 6. GT Gay 6? It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. GT Gay 6? No. GT AIDS. See, that works better. GT AIDS 6.
Of the reasons why they say that they didn't want it, and here's the results. Pre-ordered, 3. No physical disc, 19. Too expensive, 8. Buying elsewhere, 24. Not interested, 38. An employee also saying, we are in fact not okay. Everyone is acting as if we decided not to have a physical game, and as if we decided not to have the ultimate. We, as in the store level employees, of course. I had people almost cuss me out over it. It's just wild lately. This company is not worth all the stress from terrible customers. And
yeah, why are people cussing you out? It's like, it's out of your hands. You think I just... I decided to come in to work today for my medium wage slave labor fucking job at a GameStop, and I just decided, I was like, you know what? I don't think we as a company should sell GTA 6 with a disc. I just decided on a whim. I said, let's just not have any disc. It was all on my own accord. I was the master manipulator of like the entire industry.
That goes. If you've ever worked in retail, this is how just people are.
Fucking idiots. Average customer. Total insipid fucking retard.
They'll always throw blame at the person in front of them rather than the company that they're actually dealing with, who makes all of these decisions and such. Another employee saying, my only pre-order was for the new Wolverine game, LOL. No one really came in for GTA. A couple more current and former employees, one saying, I believe we only got about 10 between PS5 and Xbox. I went in my old store around like 6 or 6-ish, and they had a total of 3 GTA 6 pre-orders. And one employee had to clarify exactly what's going on, and they said that, isn't the Ultimate Edition just an upgrade you can buy separately? What else is it? And somebody who is an employee, I believe, saying, yes, it is just DLC. You can also buy it in a single package digitally, but you don't get a discount for doing so. So Ultimate Edition or Standard Edition plus Ultimate Edition upgrade will both give you the same thing for the same price. And I believe that literally is the thing. You're not getting like a special, like limited edition, physical copy. It is literally just the standard with a DLC code inside, which gives you the Ultimate Edition goodies, if I'm reading the situation right. But Polygon also...
How much was Halo 3 Legendary Edition? I can't remember. And I got the helmet with it. Wasn't it like $100 or something at the time? I swear to God, it was $100 at the time when Halo 3 Legendary Edition came out, and I got the helmet with it. Keep in mind, I got a nice little helmet, like Master Chief helmet, and that shit nice. That shit looks clean. And that was like $100, I think. So you're getting like $100 edition of a full game. You're not getting any extra stuff. Halo 3 Legendary Edition price at time of release. How much was that? It was okay, never mind. Still $130, and you get a nice like extra like helmet. Like a really cool helmet with it. Like a really nice like part of like I still appreciate it as like part of my room or whatever, just part of like the aesthetics. I'm looking at it right now. It just looks nice. It's really clean. Yeah, I think that's worth it. What was the like standard of like what else was included with Halo 3 Legendary Edition? Do we remember? It included a Xbox 360. They included a disc. Included also in the collector's edition. The contents of the disc are the following. It includes a documentary of the making of Halo 3. So you got that. You got a documentary. So that's almost like buying like a mini movie or something like that. I forget how long that documentary was. Warhog launch flash game. Okay, I don't care about that, but it's like a little tacked on thing. Exclusive Halo 3 gamer avatars and dashboard themes. So you got extra stuff like that, which you don't need, but it's nice to have. Those are extra stuff for like what you're getting. And exclusive behind the scenes footage and videos, a high definition making of Halo 3, documentary showcasing. Okay, yeah. Wait, didn't you just tell me that earlier? The documentary? Okay, whatever. Audio video calibration tool and Bungie guided. Okay, that is a legendary DVD. Contains cutscenes in chronological order. Scaled down, non-wearable replica model of the. Yeah, this is the Mjolnir Mark 5 helmet. Where's that 6? I'm so bad with my like Roman numeral things. Is it 6? I think it's 6. Fake Halo fan, I know. Sorry. It's been a minute, man. Be gentle with me. I think the Roman numeral thing is like 6, isn't it? Yeah, anyway. Or is it Mark 7? Is it John 7? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Was there a plastic stand with a slot for 2 DVD cases? Stand includes an individualized ID tag in the base. A book containing a selection of storyboards for the game's cutscenes. Yeah. I just remember Halo 3 beta, too. The beta experience of Halo 3 was crazy. I remember you had to get Crackdown to get that. And Crackdown was actually a pretty good game. That's like another GTA kind of esque game. I feel like weirdly enough, I feel like I've had the most fun with like Crackdown and Saints Row than in any GTA game. Besides maybe 4. Yeah, 4 was fun, but like, yeah, I think like I've had the most fun with like Saints Row and like Crackdown. I forget it was the Halo 2 online demo disc was including Crackdown 1. Yeah. That was awesome. Wish you could have worn that helmet, but your head would have to be shaped like a Pez dispenser top. Yeah. I'm okay with not being able to wear it, quite frankly. But yeah, it's so fun. It's so cool. I think for that alone, that attachment, like, and everything that you get was their usual price of like a game like Halo. What was the original price? I wonder how much tacked on. Halo 3 price at release. It was like 60. There's a limited edition, and there's a special legendary edition that was $200. Mine was like 120. I think 120 is more accurate. I don't know if... Was it 200? I don't remember paying $200 for it. I remember 120 seemed accurate at the time. It was like 100 or 120. I don't know why it says it's fucking Copilot, it's fucking AI, so... I guess it depends on where you buy it exactly, but yeah. $60, 70, yeah, so like an extra, like, you know, it's like buying 2 games or whatever. That's still worth it. That, like, for what I got, like, I think that was worth it. I know some people would be like, well, it's like, who cares? It's like a little, it's like, it's nice. Those are like nice little additions, and like, that feels like it's worth the price. $100 for just the complete GTA game? It's like, no, I'm good. A complete, like, yeah. Oh, yeah, it is 6. It's the Mark 6. Yeah, just like GTA. Okay, yeah, that's why I figured 6. My friend and I would play that game co-op from start to finish in one weekend. Oh my god, dude. Just endless amount of time that you spend on, like, Halo 3. So much fun, man.
Has a couple more employees in their own story saying, since GameStop employees have to explain the unusual situation surrounding the game, displeased customers can take their anger out on workers. The situation at some stores is bad enough that stores are directing employees to try and communicate the benefits of buying a box with a code in it, which is pure desperation from GameStop corporate.
How are you going to do that? How are you going to sell that? How can you sell that? You can't sell that. it's like putting the game on the hardest difficulty level. It's like are you even past that? It's like it's near impossible. I guess what you could say is that, well, you came in and you learned that when you buy the physical version, well, it's a digital code. Well, if your only choice is to buy a digital anyway, you're already here, you might as well buy it. Like that's the best thing I could probably say. I would be like, well, I guess you could get out of the way now. You can purchase it now. Because either way, you're going to have to buy it digitally. So, So if you're going to do it, I guess you could do it now. Get it out of the way. You're already here. You just learned about it, No use in, unless you just want to take a stand and be like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not purchasing out of a protest. Yeah, Crackdown 1 was insanely fun. Crackdown 1 is so much fun,
Every customer I had today walked away when I informed them that it was a download code and no Ultimate Edition one worker
Was there
claimed.
ever a Crackdown 2? I can't remember. I don't think there was. I feel like there maybe was.
So this GameStop nightmarish story is something that parallels what we heard that was coming out of local retailers in South Africa, in which a reporter said that word from local retailers in South Africa shows abysmal GTA 6 pre-order numbers so far in the country. The code in the box is the worst thing that could have happened locally. If the game had a disc, we would have seen hundreds of orders within hours, yet some stores are sitting on single-digit numbers, as we're seeing with GameStop. This issue also greatly affects businesses in South Africa, as stock allocations had already been fulfilled before the no disc announcement, so South Africa is going to be stuck with a boatload of game copies and no one buying them. Not to mention retailers won't make a cent from the game's launch, which is also just sad to see. There was a time when the industry worked together. Devs made games, retailers sold them, and helped put food on tables for everyone. Now it's just about the corporations making money. And that last sentence...
Dude, I saw Domino's was shitting on Sony. That shit was so funny on, like, the Twitter. What's the Domino's tweets? They're like, we had a purchase of 127,000 pizzas. What was the Domino's tweet? Am I even spelling that right? Domino's. Domino's. Whatever, I don't feel like looking for it.
Relevant not just to Rockstar Games, but also, well, one of the biggest console makers that pretty much just put an end to physical media, period. And that decision coming from Sony is being blamed on Rockstar Games. You have viral posts like this one, 91,000 likes as a recording, greatest game of all time, GTA 6 will be the GOAT, Rockstar always cooks, kills the entire gaming industry in 7 days.
Well, it is the most controversial game of all time at this point. When was the last GTA? When was the last GTA? How long has it been? Literally, dude, hold on. When did it come out? I have to look. It is a funny meme, man. Like, in terms of like, it was like the most entertaining way for this like to like be released, where it's just like controversy after controversy because like the industry is filth and like Rockstar's just like one of the complicit actors in being part of the filth. And so like everyone's just like so fucking upset with GTA 6 now. Like everyone's so happy. They were like, oh my god, this game is gonna be the greatest game. Like I can't wait. Like we waited so long and it's just like the biggest meme now. GTA 6. Oh wait, hold on. I meant to see GTA 5 release date. When did that release? 2013. 13 years, right? Yeah, 13. Yeah, like 13 years. This took 13 years, right? Am I right? I'm overthinking it right now. We're on 2026. 6 plus 7. And it's like, yeah, that's 13. Yeah. I'm just doing the math in my head. Why does it feel longer? That's that was the reason. Oh, I know why it feels longer. Or like, the math didn't add up in my head. Because there's different releases of it. There's the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 release, which was 2013. And then there's the re-release, November 18th, 2014, on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Then there was a PC release in 2015. Then there was a PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X release in March 15th, 2022. Okay.
And I do
That's
have
why
to
it
say,
hasn't
it is like a 1-2 that we just got hit with. Like, Rockstar Games made the announcement, the most highly anticipated game of all time, not having a physical release, and then it was followed up not even a week later by Sony just saying physical media is done by 2028. Not great at all. And then there was the Marvel's Wolverine disc announcement, which is kind of meaningless now.
The devs confirmed the PS5 game comes with a disc.
Like, they tried to score some PR points from GTA 6's controversial announcement, but yeah, their parent company kind of ruined that. And another company that really will be in trouble, which is kind of the center focus of this video, is GameStop. Like, they sell Funko Pops and cards and such nowadays, but they are going to be in trouble in this new reality. And also the fact that right now with Grand Theft Auto 6, you have some threads coming from employees saying that anyone else's district manager stores banning, telling, or talking to customers about GTA 6 being a code in the box. That is just wild, like, desperation. And as one actual GameStop employee said, I've been telling people that, again, it is just a code in the box, which is why my reservations for it is so low, but I would rather them not reserve than come back and cancel the reserves when they find out. Now, while retailers are taking massive hits right now, especially those that sell video game copies, we do have some politicians chiming in. We actually even have a French presidential candidate that slammed Grand Theft Auto 6 and Sony. This was Jean-Luc Mélenchon, a leading figure of the left-wing La France Insoumise party. I said that horribly wrong.
The debate over gaming shift to all digital distribution has now spilled into French politics. He has publicly criticized both Rockstar's digital-only approach to Grand Theft Auto 6. Okay.
But he finished third in France's 2022 presidential election with nearly 22% of the first-round vote, and he made comments in a post on X, which frames the industry move away from physical media as a consumer rights issue, that's exactly what it is. He said, with GTA 6 without a disc in 2026 and Sony's announcement of the end of physical disc sales for games in 2028, the question arises of how we view these products. Tomorrow you will pay without ever owning anything. No loan, no resale.
You'll never really own anything anymore, guys. We're rent seeking. It's the rent seeking future. You'll get subscriptions to food, subscriptions to water, subscriptions to, clothes, subscriptions to games, subscriptions to TV, subscriptions to movies, subscriptions. Everything is subscription. Your car is a subscription. Your house is a subscription. You will own nothing and like it. You will own nothing and like it.
No guarantee of keeping what we paid for. Video games are not mere merchandise.
You won't even like it. You'll love it. You'll love that you own nothing.
They're cultural assets.
You'll be a peasant forever. A peasant forever. It truly is feudalism. It's like, it is truly like we're living in like a feudalist state.
Apply to them. We will open the project in 2027. Players have rights too. He's not the only politician that has spoken out. We actually heard from a Brazilian lawmaker. Her post or criticism on X was largely focused on Sony, but she did make a point towards the end, closing with a personal note stating that she only has one game in her library, GTA, which she plays specifically for the airplane mission, and then that she does not accept this digital-only future. And then there was also some action happening in the EU in which a parliament member, Leila Chaibi, also provided her thoughts, and she spoke about how there needs to be a way to save physical video games and linked it to a petition. One thing has become quite clear this last week. GTA 6 no disc announcement and Sony's just killing of physical media, they are being grouped together. And then you throw on top the criticism of the paywalling of content with the Ultimate Edition. It's just a recipe for disaster. But ultimately, Rockstar Games, Take-Two Interactive, the parent company, they know that they can get away with this because GTA 6 is the most highly anticipated game of all time. And right now there are some alleged pre-order numbers going around saying that $1 billion was made within the first. I mean, that's a given. People have been waiting years for this game. This game's going to make mountains of money. Now, will it have the longevity that Grand Theft Auto 5 has had? Remains to be seen, but a lot of that will have to do with the quality of GTA 6, and if it is truly a revolutionary must-have game, which personally myself and to many of you, we expect that out of Rockstar Games. Anything less would be a disappointment. And while the physical code in the box might be a massive dud moving forward, the Grand Theft Auto 6 physically with consoles, it's going to be a problem this fall. This is what some insiders are reporting, and it is everything to do with what's going on with AI. The shortages with chips and all of...
They didn't even show any footage of gameplay of this, of 6. They were just like, yeah, we know you're going to get this. We'll show you like one trailer of like what the graphics are gonna look like, but we won't even show you footage of like actual stuff. It comes out in November, so it's like, by now you'd think they would release any footage, but they're like, yeah, we know you're gonna purchase our fucking game. It's like 1 billion. They get like 1 billion pre-orders and shit.
That it is contributing to a lot of the chaos that we're seeing. Also with Sony's decision to move away from physical media. All of this contributes to what's happening with GTA 6. And this is something that was said to Games Business from an insider, a senior Games
That's the sad thing too, is it's probably like a decent game. It's probably a pretty good game, in fact. Like, but it's like, so many people are just gonna like feel like if they, there will be plenty who don't feel this way, or will compromise. Because they're like crack addicts. They need to play it. They need to play it. They've been waiting so long that they'll just get fucked anyway. They'll give in.
Speaking without permission of his
It's
employer.
like, a
So
lot
we've
of people will probably be like, I'll never experience this until like something substantial changes.
been informed that because of the ongoing issues
It'll
around
just feel wrong purchasing it. I feel like it would feel wrong purchasing this fucking game, like giving my fucking money to these fucking filthy demons.
hardware component availability, we won't be getting the units we want ahead of GTA.
It would be almost like you're co-signing like what they're doing, like their decisions. But a senior games buyer speaking without the permission of his employer told us, we've been informed that because of the ongoing issues around hardware component availability, we won't be getting the units we want ahead of GTA. Demand will likely outstrip supply during the year-end period.
Demand will likely outstrip supply during the year-end period. And this is a little strange because Sony's CEO previously had told investors in May that for calendar year 2026, the necessary volume has been secured. Although, on the flip side of things, Xbox's chief strategy officer Matthew Ball told Games Business earlier in the month that there were already supply issues on their end. I can tell you definitively, demand for our consoles exceed the supply. We are putting them in as many stores as possible. We're producing them as quickly as possible. There's a severe limitation to how quickly we can do that, but it's not a question of appetite. We need to do more, but there are constraints here. So maybe this is just an Xbox related problem. I mean, they have so many issues going on this generation and lately, but I definitely am of the belief that waiting on hardware is a big mistake, especially with all of the AI stuff going on. It's just not a given that A, the hardware is going to be there, or B, it's going to be there for the price that it is right now. Prices just continue to surge and PlayStation consoles.
All right, let's move on to the other video real quick, and then we'll move on from this topic.
All right, we're going to talk about GTA 6 and Sony in this video, because yikes. So first, GTA 6 revealed just how much the game is going to be.
Let's see if like any of this is a little bit redundant. We'll see if there's anything else we can gauge from this.
$80 for the light edition and $100 for the base edition. And you know, with the light edition, there's cars, guns, clothes, garages, entire mod and tattoo shops, clothing stores, a whole game compound that will assumingly have a ton of missions, and a very cool sounding classic car roundup mission are all not included. The $100 base edition is just the full game. All of that stuff only comes with the $100 edition. And I mean, at least to me, that makes the $80 one just totally inferior. Like, why would you ever really bother with it? And I mean, Rockstar and Take-Two, they know
it's
this.
like you might as well just release it and be like, here's the only version, and it should be like a $100 version. People would be pissed about the price still, but at least it wouldn't feel like it's like, well, you can get the lesser version. It just feels like more scummy in practice, I think. Like, at least it's a tiny bit more honest if you're like, well, here's all this for we're selling it for $100. We think our game is just that good. It's just like, I don't know, like. Also, like, would you? Here's the thing: if you don't get the $100 version first, are you just like never able to get to upgrade to the $100 version, or is that like, how's that work exactly? Like, you're stuck with an $80 version. So it's like, why would anyone, if like they wanted the true Grand Theft Auto experience overall, to really play the game in depth as it should be? Like, why would they not make the $100 purchase? It just feels like a scummy business practice.
They know how long everybody has been waiting. And they know if they lock some of the game behind a $20 price tag and call it premium, then everybody's pretty much going to do it. But make no mistake, the $80 is the light edition and the $100 is the base edition. I figured we could quickly compare how they've done this in the past. So for GTA 5, we had the $60 base edition, an $80 special edition, and a $150 collector edition, which makes you wonder when the collector edition is going to be announced for GTA 6. Probably after a whole bunch of pre-orders are already in and people have to just suck it up and buy another edition, I guess. All of the editions of GTA 5 got a pre-order bonus blimp. And for GTA 6, I guess you get some vintage Vice City apparel for pre-ordering, so kind of the same there. The $80 special edition for GTA 5 came with a steelbook, a map, stunt plane trials, and clothing and weapons. So the clothing and weapons have kind of been standard for a long time, and the stunt plane trials were even like in-game activities that you could do, but it's pretty light. The $150 collector's edition came more with physical merch, like the money bag and the hat, but also in-game there were more cars and garages, and I guess there was that special ability boost too. And I think the point here is that they've always kind of done stuff like this. You know, a lot of companies do like pre-order bonuses and extra editions with more content in them, but for some reason it feels even more egregious with GTA 6. I mean, when you go to the page that shows you all the stuff you get with the $100 edition, I mean, that shit just keeps scrolling. You're like, when does it end? And then you combine it with the fact that they're starting at $80 already, but everyone knows the $80 one kind of sucks, so the price tag really is $100 here. If you want the full GTA 6 experience, it's $100. So I think that, combined with just how much stuff is locked behind the $100 edition, that's what people are feeling here.
It feels like enough of the game where it's just like, oh, like I really feel like I'm gonna actually be missing out on the.
And I mean, they were doing the same thing.
Like, that much stuff is locked up under $20, you know?
But Red Dead 2. On launch, the editions went from 60, 80, and 100 this time. And the $80 one had story content locked behind it, a whole bank robbery mission. There was even a gang hideout locked behind it too. And I think even back then, people kind of felt that the $60 one was the light edition, and we were already at like the 8.
I feel it's like more proper to release like a base edition, like the standard edition of what you already have completed, and then later on, like after like a period of like 5-6 months, maybe like a year, you release like some DLC stuff. I feel like that's like a proper business practice.
$50 being the
It
base.
could just be added in later instead of just like being like, well, you can get the Lite edition, but then, well, use this other version, you know, that has more stuff. And it's like, I might as well like get the more stuff version now.
And this is just kind of a continuation of that. And it all comes back to FOMO. If you don't know, it's the fear of missing out. It's when you see everybody else experiencing something and you want to experience it too. And it's the #1 moneymaker in gaming. GTA 6 is the ultimate FOMO product. Take-Two and Rockstar are taking full advantage of that. I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it seems like it's going to be now. Now, something else that's very popular in the news right now are physical code and box editions, which is so funny because I just talked about this with Bethesda in like I think last video maybe, which by the way was 2 weeks ago. Sorry about that. But on launch, all physical GTA copies will be code in box. The official reasoning is leaks. You know, they don't want it to get all leaked out and everything because that kind of stuff happens with games. It even happened with AC Shadows, and that wasn't even like a huge game or anything. And I want to be clear that no matter what you've seen online to this point, Take-Two or Rockstar have not confirmed a future disc release. Rumors exist for both sides of this.
Official reasoning is leaks. I don't care, man. I don't care if that's the official reasoning. That's not justifiable enough of a reason.
But there's been no official stance whatsoever. Now, with all that said, there is a saying in gaming: no one hates their fans as much as Nintendo. Now, with that in mind, remember this ad?
This is how you share your games on PS4. Thanks.
Dude. Dude.
PlayStation.
Since when they were PS4, man. Oh my god.
That was the official PlayStation used game instructional video. Real fast, it has over 20 million views and over 500,000 likes. That's really good for an ad. This was, of course, in response to Xbox One's
like
DRM.
Age like milk, man. Holy fuck.
And it greatly improved their PR going into the PS4 generation. And I bring up Nintendo because it's just one of the greatest self-owns online now. Like, Sony is really gunning for that #1 spot. Because on July 1st, Sony announced that physical disc production will end in January 2028 for new games releasing on PlayStation consoles. So what this means is that any new game they release after January 2028 will not get a physical release. Now, if you want to see how people respond to this type of thing, Insomniac made this tweet about Wolverine. It says, "Can you kick it? Yes, you can." Seems like a Bob the Builder reference, I guess. I don't know. But someone responds saying it looks like a great game and asked if it will have a physical or code in a box edition. And Insomniac responded saying the physical version will include a disc in the box. This response got 51,000 likes. The initial tweet only has 15,000 likes, and I guarantee a lot of that came from the people liking the response to the tweet. This is how much people actually kind of give a fuck about this. I also want to point out that Sony was kind of clowned on by some other companies. Like,
oh yeah, here's the Domino's one. In response to trends in the gaming industry, as of April 1st, 2027, Domino's UK will cease production of physical pizzas and shift to production of digital pizzas only. Consumers will be able to download our full range of delicious pizza codes and, using the power of the imagination, enjoy them in an entirely virtual sense. April 1st, April Fool's Day. On April Fool's Day, you can download digital pizzas. Amazing. Love it.
Domino's UK posted, as of April 1st, 2027, Domino's UK will cease production of physical pizzas and shift to production of digital pizzas only. Consumers will be able to download our full range of delicious pizza codes and, using the power of imagination, enjoy them in an entirely virtual sense. This tweet has 500,000 likes, and I don't think we'll be seeing any Sony and Domino's partnership anytime soon. Proton also got in on it. Now, what I thought was kind of funny was Bethesda. Bethesda made this tweet from the official Elder Sony and Domino's partnership anytime soon. Proton also got...
In response to the gaming industry removing physical offerings moving forward, we've decided to fill the gap by making our services entirely physical, starting it's the same joke, basically. They just ripped off the joke from Domino's. Proton Mail becomes encrypted letters hand-delivered by our team. A pass becomes someone who follows you around and remembers your passwords for you. VPN files you to one of 90-plus locations, so you can browse like a local. Drive ships every user a folder. Additional folders available on request, and Lumo AI sends a smart employee to your location to answer questions, help with work, and draw things.
Got in on it. Now, what I thought was kind of funny...
Good memes. Exploring across... you never know what physical treasures you might find.
Was
Switch to physical edition.
Bethesda made this tweet from the official Elder Scrolls Twitter account about finding physical treasures, and it was just an ad about how they're releasing a physical cartridge for Oblivion Remastered on Switch, which just doesn't hit the same when, isn't this you? They made this tweet about physical code in box editions of Skyrim and Fallout 4, in April. That's
true. Good meme.
3 months ago. And now they're switching sides all of a sudden. From the bottom of my heart, Bethesda, go fuck yourselves. Now I want to get to the point of why this is really a problem. Of course, preservation of media is very important, but something that's probably more important are the day-to-day costs of your life. And something physical media provides is another option. You don't have to go to the PlayStation Store to buy a game if you can go on Amazon and get a 51% discount on that fucking game. This screenshot was taken yesterday, and so was this one. This one is from the PlayStation Store, where you can buy The Last of Us for $70, or you can get it for $34 on Amazon. And isn't this just the most backwards thing you've ever seen in your life? You can get the physical edition with a game box, maybe a book.
Like, the digital price will never change at all. There's no incentive to change the digital price at all. None whatsoever. The various different options, the buy it on eBay or any other retailers or whatever, as demand gets lower or whatever, people don't pay for it nearly as much or whatever, like over time. It's it's a net negative for the companies in terms of if they don't get the amount that they want, like, why have physical, you know? 34.38, and this is on what, eBay?
But most importantly,
something like that.
A game disc. You can get this for half the fucking price of the digital-only version directly from the person that fucking made it. And this right here is exactly why Sony is doing this. They hate that you can go on Amazon and get The Last of Us for $35. They hate this. They want this gone as soon as possible. And so they saw GTA doing a code in box only, and they took that opportunity to just do it themselves too. This example is not alone. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, $29 on Amazon, or you can get it for $50 on the PlayStation Store. The remastered version on Amazon is cheaper than the normal version on Sony. How about God of War Ragnarok? You can get that for $32 on Amazon, or you can spend $70 on the PlayStation Store. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, 41% off on Amazon, 0% off on the PlayStation Store. I mean, the examples go on forever. Here's Gran Turismo 7, it's 44% off on Amazon, full $70 on PlayStation, of course. And there's really no other way to look at it. Physical copies are always going to be better than no physical copies for the consumer. With physical, there's more retailers, which means they're less expensive. There's an entire used market that, well, maybe not as big as it used to be. It's certainly still probably pretty big. You can, of course, share games with your friends, or, you know, sell them to your friends, whatever you want to do with them. And then there's the preservation. And then, of course, with no physical copies, of course, it's only available directly from the manufacturer.
Now, obviously, you can always lose, like, your disc or whatever, or you can, like, they could break over time, but it takes a long time for a disc to break or be worn out or anything like that. So that's always like a possibility, but, like, you know, if you take good care of your stuff, like, you know, for the most part, you should be set.
There is no competition. There's obviously no used market. You can't have a used copy of a digital game. There is some friend sharing, but I would bet that Sony's doing whatever they can to squash that as soon as possible. And most importantly for Sony, they
have more control over the friend sharing thing. Like, they're probably like I don't think they do this now, but they would probably want you to, like, spend money to even friend share at a certain point.
The control. They get control over all of it. They get all of the money for it. Now let's pivot to a bit of a fun fact. In fiscal year 2025, Microsoft made about $281 billion. Not a big deal. Not a big deal or anything. Now the Xbox portion of that was about $23 billion. Not bad, right? It's about 8% of Microsoft total. Now Sony in fiscal year 2025 made about $82 billion. This is a hand-drawn chart, by the way. It may not look as accurate as it should. But the PlayStation brand accounted for about $31 billion of that. And I'm just pointing all this out to show that Microsoft is a much bigger company than Sony. This actually doesn't even really show how much bigger of a company Microsoft is, but this is how much money they make. And this also shows how dependent Sony is on PlayStation. PlayStation is like 36% of Sony's income, whereas Xbox is like 8% of Microsoft's income. Now, with this in mind, you would think Microsoft would just want to compete a little bit more, right? They just don't seem willing to lose much money on Xbox. I just feel like Microsoft would come out soon and say, like, hey, we're not going to end physical media. We're going to keep making discs. But the reports don't seem to follow that.
Oh, they would absolutely do. It's reportedly to follow PlayStation's example and ditch disc. Like, it's so obvious Microsoft would follow the same down road. In fact, if anything, I'm surprised they didn't do it first, to be quite frank.
Everybody is seemingly saying the same thing, that Project Helix won't have a disk drive. And I just don't fucking get it. I really don't understand. A disk drive itself, it's not that expensive, right? We've been doing
Google
disk
says
drives.
It's like 30 or 40 to make a disk drive.
don't fucking get it. I really don't understand. A disk drive itself.
This is like 25 to 30 to make a disk drive for modern consoles.
It's not that expensive.
It's just to save money, basically.
Right? We've been doing disk drives for a long fucking time. I just don't think it could be that expensive to add a disk drive to your console, like compared to the everything
else. I will
else.
say, like, one of the things I think that rushed us to this point is that, like, physical games people don't buy physical games nearly as much. So it's one of the many reasons I think they just decided, you're like, we're not going to do this anymore. And I think for whatever reason they thought, like, people would be okay with this, because they're not buying physical games like that anymore. But everyone loves to have the option. I think there are enough people that do buy the physical games where it's like, no, it was like, we don't like this certain restriction here. We don't really trust you. We shouldn't really trust you to, go digital only. What I'm saying is
But this whole fight over physical media, I mean, it could be a huge factor at least, that decides the next console generation. And it just doesn't seem like it would break the bank for Xbox to throw physical media a bone here. I just think it would do wonders for their brand moving forward if they came out with a hard stance, pro physical media. Maybe do an ad like Sony did. I mean, that would be funny, right? Asha, you have the opportunity to do something very funny, and we hope you take it. Because if you look at Sony recently, I mean, you have live service failures. They have their own layoffs going over there. Of course, there's the Bungie fiasco. They're raising PS5 prices over and over. They deleted like 500 movies that people paid for off PlayStation. Fucking crazy. Just saying, like, just get fucked, basically. And of course,
give me my money back. Give me my money back. I would be pissed. I would be so pissed if dude. That didn't happen to me. I didn't buy a PlayStation, but I would be fucking pissed. I would be so pissed. You know how pissed I would be? Oh my god. I would demand my money back.
Ending first-party physical media thing. I mean, there isn't, like, any good Sony PR I can think of in the last time. Like, when's the last time they did something good? I also want to mention the reason for console price increases. Like, obviously, everybody knows about the RAM and memory shortages. There's no shortage of anything, by the way. There is plenty enough to go around. It's just a couple companies that made contracts to buy it all. And we can only hope and pray that one day the law comes down on them hard. But I think a big reason for the console prices is GTA 6. It will sell out consoles worldwide. The price was always going to increase no matter what. Maybe it wasn't supposed to get to $900 or whatever, but it was always going to go up. And I would honestly expect it to get worse as we get close to November. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. If you want to buy a mug, go to drawnoutstore.com. Sorry for not posting in 2 weeks.
Next thing you know, games themselves are going to be like $270. Awesome. Sony begs PlayStation Plus players to come back as fans. Yeah, we saw that. All right. What's up next? Oh, we already saw this. Yeah, was there anything more to Sony? I think we're... So there's a bunch of flock cameras being posted around a bunch of places, and it's basically we live in a surveillance state at this point. Like, yeah, so people are fighting back. They're taking down flock cameras. Yeah, it's just like they can get really intricate too. They can really like get detail oriented in like what they see on the cameras. It's quite uncomfortable, I must say, personally. Flock you Peter Thiel. Americans are raging and fighting back against his surveillance empire. People are done staying quiet. A new clip showing Peter Thiel's companies Plattner and Flock has the internet raging. Palantir, the all-seeing data monster, hoovers up massive amounts of information and turns it into actionable intelligence. Flock blankets neighborhoods with license plate readers and cameras. They're now bragging about Maven Smart System, their flagship AI tool that fuses multiple data feeds into one clean God mode interface. Left click, right click, detection becomes action. No more clunky systems, just one terrifyingly efficient machine for total surveillance and targeting. This is why people are screaming, "Flock you, Peter Thiel," because his companies are building the backbone of a full-blown surveillance state in plain sight. So it's like literally 1948. It's like becoming more and more 1948 as the days pass. This is deranged, to say the least. This is like, that's an understatement. They sell it as public safety. Americans see it as the end of privacy and the beginning of total control. Are you still okay with Peter Thiel building the digital cage around us, or are you finally ready to admit this is a full-blown surveillance state? It's pretty much that way at this point.
Why?
We live in a feudalist, basically surveillance state, authoritarian, fascist dictatorship.
Why are people saying "flock you, Peter"?
I feel like trying to pretend that we live in a democratic country anymore is like kind of cope in a way. I mean, like, I guess you could say we're still fighting with whatever we have to be able to try to garner that, back, but
Why are people
it's not going so well, is it?
saying "flock you, Peter Thiel"?
Flock you, bro. Hey, Peter Thiel, flock you.
Maybe because none of this surveillance works without Palantir's software.
This is Maven Smart System, Palantir's software as a service product that we are deploying across the entire department. As you can see, it's not just one
I'm literally not allowed to say exactly what I'm thinking right now. I have a lot of TOS thoughts. I'm going to keep them to myself.
data feed, it's multiple. And instead of having 8 or 9 systems for those decision makers to look at every single day in order for them to make decisions, you then fuse it into a single visualization tool. The single visualization tool allows you to select, deselect different types of data, look at different approaches to data, but more importantly, action from the same system that you're trying to develop your workflows around.
Dude, it's just so gross looking at this. It just feels so fucking slimy.
Once you have a detection that you want to actually move into a targeting workflow, for example, this is what we do. Left click, right click, left click, magically, it becomes a detection.
Ugh. Officials in Houston, Texas are panicking after 2 more flock cameras were chopped down yesterday. Officials like, fuck you, officials, go ahead, panic, fuck you. Who the fuck agreed to have flock cameras be like placed, oh, by the way? Who the fuck agreed to this? Did the people agree to this? I don't think they fucking did they? This makes 4 flock cameras destroyed in 3 days. Allegedly, the public is sending hundreds of tips saying things like the cameras are succumbing to heat exhaustion.
Law enforcement camera that once stood here is gone. All that's left is this pole across the street, another one taken down as well. A criminal justice expert tells me this could be a sign of the growing public unease with this type of video surveillance. In 2 different parts of Houston, the same scene. Surveillance cameras lying on the ground. 2 near Memorial Park, 2 more near Washington Avenue and Westcott. All part of Flock Safety's automated license plate reader network used by Houston police and other law enforcement agencies. Houston police confirming an investigation into this. While the motive is unknown, the technology itself has drawn criticism.
The cops are complicit in all this. There's a reason, like, ACAB. Fuck you. Like, any sympathies I usually have, like, for police is like, like, you're complicit in the system. This is such a disgusting fucking thing to be, like, complicit in. You have any fucking shame? Anyone who's still a fucking police officer and working for these disgusting fucking rodents that are doing this shit to us? Like, how fucking...
them in the past from people concerned about the data they're collecting.
What level of frustration have we encountered? Right?
Texas Southern University professor Howard Henderson, founding director of the Center for Justice Research, says the backlash reflects broader concerns over privacy and who ultimately has access to the information these cameras collect.
For many in society, they're looking at what the negative unintended consequences may be if this information gets leaked or someone uses it and finds itself in the wrong hands.
A crowdsourced map from dflock.org shows thousands of flock cameras across the greater Houston area. Because anyone can submit locations, ABC 13 cannot independently verify the data shown, but we know that multiple law enforcement agencies use the cameras. Houston expanded its use of the technology through a multi-million-dollar agreement with Flock in 2022. In that contract, HPD describes the camera as an investigative tool, writing that, quote, all data from vehicles observed will be provided to HPD for further assessment in detecting vehicles wanted in suspicious or post-event investigations for law enforcement purposes.
We're here to stop a crime before it happens, guys. All right.
Just months ago, Harris County commissioners voted to renew its contract through June 2027 at a cost of just under $869,000. The Harris County Sheriff's Office previously credited the cameras with helping recover stolen vehicles and locating 2 kidnapped children. But Henderson says there's growing public unease over surveillance technology and artificial intelligence.
Sensitivities are heightened and people are very concerned about someone watching them and what they're doing with that information.
And he says when people feel they have no voice in those decisions, frustrations surface.
In the community, is simply saying, since you won't listen to me, right? Since you have given me no way to voice my concern, we'll just take it down and tear it up.
By the way,
Camera
there's
that
been
once
a
stood here.
huge increase in, like, the amount of people that believe that political violence should happen. There's like a 60% increase. Like, this is like an actual, like, people are getting, like, really fucking pissed and fed up with this shit. I'm just saying, man, like, it's to that boiling point. When I kept saying this, I was like, if like people don't listen, man, like shit's going to like go down. Shit's not gonna be sweet, man. It's gonna get really bad. And that's like bad for both parties too. It's not just like a general, like, I'm just saying, like, people fucking hate this shit. And they're gonna be like, okay, well, if my needs are not being met, if my voice is not going to be heard, well, this might happen. As you know, it's like you're forcing people's hand, man. I don't know why the fuck you think like that you're gonna get away with shit like this. I just don't understand. Flock safety AI cameras are scanning 20 billion license plates, 20 billion every month, giving police the power to track any vehicle's movements across cities and jurisdictions in seconds. It doesn't just read plates, it logs color, make, model, and details like bumper stickers or gun racks. Then stores everything in a searchable cloud database. Police can reconstruct a travel history, set alerts, and pull data from other agencies. The company says it played a role in about 1 million arrests last year, and many police chiefs call it their most impactful tool ever. But this mass data collection is sparking a major backlash over privacy and the Fourth Amendment. Critics argue it's indiscriminate surveillance of everyone's movements, not targeted policing, creating a permanent dragnet of innocent drivers without warrants. Flock claims no facial recognition is used, and okay, yeah, we'll just take your word on that, buddy. Okay, is used, and data is deleted after 30 days by default with some safeguards in place. This may be true today, but we do not trust these safeguards today. Perhaps they use safeguards. But we know government, this tool will be used for facial recognition and data used against innocent U.S. citizens. This is Big Brother at its worst. Still, the core issue remains constant tracking of every vehicle on public roads without suspicion. This is a violation. It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. It's a cross-source map of all the camera locations. Ugh. It's disgusting to look at. Look up at the traffic polls. You live in an open-air prison. Be me, ex-cop, by the way, suspended without pay because I looked at the back-end logs. Local government installs Flock safety cameras everywhere. They tell the public it only reads license plates to catch car thieves. The software actually logs vehicle, make, color, and specific bumper stickers. System shares your daily route across state lines with zero warrants. Then the department buys the Condor upgrades. These targets pedestrians. The lens physically tracks you, zooms in, and logs your face while you walk down the sidewalk. I raised privacy concerns to the command staff. Reporter asked the Patika police chief why they hid the tech from the public. Chief says they keep it secret so criminals wouldn't avoid detection. The department treats every citizen as a potential defendant. When you complain, they use the old line, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. We imported the Soviet and Chinese mass surveillance philosophy. Yeah. This is why you never ever back the blue. Fund them, treat them with respect when you interact with them, but they'll always turn on you when it becomes slightly convenient for. Yeah, yeah. Police officer turned whistleblower says Flock cameras are not what they are being told they are.
Hello, everyone. My name is Noel Pichardo. I'm a ex-cop here in the state of Rhode Island. I'm regrettably an ex-police officer. It's part of the reason why I'm doing one of the strangest things I've ever done, which is talking in front of a camera.
Is this like verified? How do I know this is like the real guy? Is this a real guy? First of all, how do I know this is not AI?
Noel Pichardo.
I just want to be skeptical here. Italian American, I don't know. I have to like reconsider everything, like even if it's like to my benefit, even if the stories are to my benefit, I have to. Okay, we're gonna take all this at face. We're just take it with a grain of salt. I don't know if this guy is like legitimately like what he says he is. I don't know if this is AI. I don't know any of this shit. Let me see. I'm not getting a sense of. so far. We'll see. Constitutional conservative journalist, legal diva, Italian American.
An ex-police officer is part of the reason why I'm doing one of the strangest things I've ever done, which is talking in front of a camera, in order to inform you all about a
Is that
concerning
sad?
trend.
I have to consider whether or not this guy's like AI too. Holy shit! Oh my god, we live in hell. We live in fucking hell. Holy shit!
It's been steadily rising in my state and other states across the country. So about in 2021, 2022, my city, the city of Pawtucket, the police department I was a part of, along with other departments in my state, started quietly signing contracts with this new technology called Flock Camera. It's a surveillance system company run by a man named Garrett Langley. He's the CEO and founder of that company.
Well, the people that set this shit up too, like they should be utterly shamed out of their community. Utterly shamed. Utterly, don't let them forget this. Don't let them remind them that they're fucking traitors. Remind the people that create this stuff. There are people who create this stuff, who facilitate for all of this to happen in the first place, who are complicit in it, who actually set these up. These disgusting human traitors. These people should be fucking shamed. Endless shaming. Don't let them forget. Do not ever let them feel comfortable with the fact, with what they're doing.
Sophisticated AI software that use a camera system to track and monitor every vehicle that goes by the camera lens. You know, it doesn't require a violation. It doesn't require any infraction. It only requires movement. That's it. And it records the make, the model, color, bumper stickers, you name it, of the vehicle that goes by every single one of these camera lenses.
Is there anything more to this, or is it basically what we already know? Let's see.
They're quite discreet. If you don't know what they are.
Oh, they'll like pick up dents too. Dents, driver's license, Raiders sticker, the backpack. Yeah, it's like full in-depth and everything.
The model, color, bumper stickers, you name it, of the vehicle that goes by every single one of these camera lenses. They're quite discreet. If you don't know what they are, you won't be able to spot them out. They're basically put on utility poles at the main intersections in your city if you have them. So to put it bluntly, you know, if you own a car, you're now being tracked. If I could put it plainly, for committing the sin of going to work. This information is shared city to city and even state to state without a warrant. There's no legislation governing this technology. Well, specifically referring to my state, which doesn't have any legislation governing this technology, even though it's been in use for about 4 years now. And if you're still watching this video, I'm assuming your temper is starting to flare up because it's probably the first time you're hearing about this, which I think is the worst thing about this, in my opinion, is that you, the American citizen, was never notified about this innovation, nor its implementation. Your consent was never required, nor even asked for, or even thought
about this like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or something like that. Just kind of popped up,
when your city government was putting up this new technology. For example, the chief of the Pawtucket Police Department, she was confronted by a local reporter on this very question of what gave them the right to put up these cameras without consulting the public. Her response was, so the criminals wouldn't know about it and avoid its detection. So there you go. That's their best argument.
Wow, criminals are going to have a lot of different options to be able to avoid it. There are options, but it's like, dude, really? Are we fucking serious?
About why they felt you, the public, had no right to know about this new innovation.
Yeah, the public has no right to know because, like, fuck you. Like, fuck you, we're going to do whatever we want. That's the real answer.
You put up in your city. So why am I in the situation that I'm in right now? Why am I talking to you? So when this innovation was first introduced in my city and many other cities in the state, I brought up a lot of the reasonable objections I'm sure a lot of you who already came up with in the first few seconds of this video, which is concerns about privacy, concerns about abuse, and concerns about transparency. Because I brought up all these concerns to that same local reporter that interviewed the chief of the Pawtucket Police Department, and because I brought these concerns to the Government Oversight Committee at my state house, what I got for that was suspensions without pay. I lost my promotion to detectives. I had my character sullied, and all that eventually led to my resignation, which was forced on me. It wasn't my choice, but I had no choice at this point. After I resigned, I was asked to sign an NDA by my department, which I didn't even know was allowed in my profession, but maybe that's just a sign of my ignorance. But I refused to sign that NDA. And as a result, I've become unhireable in my profession. I can no longer be a police officer in my state because, you know, I guess you could say plainly I'm a bit of a rat, if you want to put it that way. But I made peace with that. You know, I made peace with that. I can't do this anymore. I'm not naive. I know how the world works. I know that when you talk about
yeah, you're not a rat. This is it's quite the opposite. The rats are all over the police department. The rodents are crawling around all over that. It's quite the distinct opposite.
That want to still be kept hidden.
That would imply a lot more devious, malicious behavior.
Price you will pay for that as you lose your job. It is what it is. Other things have happened, but I promised I wasn't.
Well, actually, hold on. By their standards, they would call you a rat because what they're doing is disgusting and like criminal. I think it should be considered criminal. Like legally, it's probably not criminal right now or whatever. But yeah, it's morally dubious and disgusting. And yeah, like to me, it should be considered criminal. So yeah, I guess by their standards, they would call you a rat.
I use this as an opportunity to rant, and so I'm not going to do that. And I don't share this to do the whole woe is me bit. I simply share it to prove that some nobody patrolman from Rhode Island had his livelihood taken away from him for simply saying, hold on a second, for a technology that we apparently have nothing to worry about. And if you are worrying about it, it's because you have something to hide. The philosophy that this innovation is already grounded on is already proven to be rotten. It's grounded on this idea that you, the citizen, are first and foremost a potential suspect or potential defendant that needs to be tracked and monitored for your safety and for the safety of others. It's the same philosophy that the Soviets and many authoritarian states during the 20th century adopted, and we all know how that worked out for them. It's the same philosophy that the Chinese are currently adopting right now, and they have a similar surveillance system that they're using on their own citizens right now, which is even more egregious. And look, I get it. I want to use the tools that we have in order to capture the guy who steals your mother's car, the guy who's stalking your neighbor's daughter, or one of the guys that shoots and kills one of our young men in our city. I get it. But this isn't the answer. This technology is new, but the philosophy that it's grounded on is nothing new. It's actually quite old. And we've seen it echoed in the worst way throughout the 20th century in Europe, and I don't want it to repeat those same mistakes in our own country. So what do I want? I mean, who cares what I want, I suppose. If you're still watching this video, what do you want? I assume it's the same thing I want, which is to have these cameras taken down.
Add this with like AI being able to manufacture like false evidence or something like that, or false notion. Like it's a very uncomfortable feeling for anyone who has meaningful criticism, doing any meaningful detraction from like an authoritarian government. Standing up like it's add this with the increase in like the left being labeled like terrorists and stuff like that. Like it becomes more and more transparent to me that this will not go down a good road at all. This will be horrible for the public.
Or have an intelligent conversation about them at the very least, which wasn't afforded to us before. We were just assumed to submit and go along with whatever our local government decided.
It's scary, actually.
But what do I want right now? What I want right now is very simple. I just want you, the public, to know that these cameras exist and that they were put up without your consent, and I'm going to trust you guys to do the rest with that information. I don't know how many people are going to watch this video. It could be 50, it could be 500, 5,000. I don't know. I don't know how these things work. I don't have social media. But I have to try. You know, this is me trying. If you're looking to organize with reasonable, level-headed people who want the same things that you do, I suggest that you check out the website below. It's called deflock.org. You know, they're a loose organization of people who don't want to punish anybody. They don't want to hold anyone accountable. They just want to speak with their legislators, speak with influential people in order to get these cameras taken off our streets. That's all they want. So if that's the type of people you want to work with, I suggest that you work with them because they simply want to go to work without being tracked just like you. And I want to add just one last thing. These requests may shock you, but first of all, don't be mad at your local cops. You know, the guys who make 65 grand a year, a lot of cops in their unions, specifically the one that I was a part of, are fighting to keep their own health insurance. So I can guarantee you they're not the people responsible for this or even really care, to be honest with you. And this next request may shock you. Forgive your police leaders and your city council members, the ones who did put these cameras up.
Oh, no. We're not doing that. We're not playing that. No. You're complicit in this. The people are like egregiously doing this. Yeah, I'm sorry. No. We're not doing that. We're not playing that shit.
You know.
No, remove them from power. Shame. Full shame. They won't learn anything. No niceties. No. Time for niceties? No. They've had their chance. They had their chance to do the right thing. They chose to do the wrong thing. Nah, I'm good. Fuck
I think us trying to focus on who to blame and whose job we're going to try to take away or what have you, I don't think that's going to be useful.
They're only able to do... These people are, like, complicit and being able to, like, let this be more normalized and put out there. Sorry. Like, if it was going to happen anyway, you shouldn't be the one facilitating it. You shouldn't be... Like, you take accountability.
I say we
take accountability. And honestly, for any of the police officers that use this technology, take accountability. Take accountability. You're helping normalize. You're being complicit and normalizing this stuff, utilizing this technology. Fuck you too. Fuck you. Quite frankly, fuck you too. Yeah, no.
Just forgive them, and we just focus on what's really important right here, which is getting these silly cameras down, so we can move on with our lives. So, if you made it this far, thank you. Thank you for listening. I hope everything I said was useful. And that's it. Take care.
For those who want to know a little bit more about this guy, he is a former police officer.
Let's see. Former Pawtucket, Rhode Island police officer, served about 7 years. before resigning 2024, 2025 based on recent viral videos, but become a public critic of flock safety. Was he already like a public critic before this video released? He first publicly raised objections in 2023 in October in Valley Breeze article. He learned about the full rollout of the flock cameras in Pawtucket after a trial period. Via a news story rather than internally, he argued that the cameras track vehicles without needing any violation, just movement. They enabled broad surveillance shared across agencies without warrants. They pose serious privacy risk and potential for abuse.
In Rhode Island, he served about 7 years before resigning, and the reason why he resigned was because of this flock camera situation. He actually went to the media. He wanted to be a whistleblower because he was very concerned about the unlawful surveillance without a warrant, and he has valid concerns. He's saying that the cameras are tracking make, model, color, stickers of everyone's vehicles without any violation. All they need is movement of the vehicle. So if you were driving on the road,
deployment happened with little public notice or consent. Police chief at the time, Tina Goncalves, reportedly justified secrecy to avoid criminals evading detection.
Enable broad surveillance shared by multiple
absolute resignation. Fuck you, Tina. Resign. Filth.
Agencies without warrants. So this again is what he was saying. It's even state to state they are sharing it, and you're supposed to have some kind of warrant to do that. They pose serious privacy risk. He's saying that it's very similar to China or like the Soviet Union, and deployment is happening with very little public notice. So these are all very concerns, and he wanted to be a whistleblower. So for these reasons, he was actually suspended without pay, and then he just finally just left the force. So one of the things that I want to bring up is that it goes far beyond what he's saying here, where it's just tracking your vehicles. Flock cameras are actually being deployed in places where cars aren't driving, and they're using AI to actually track, zoom in on you, and follow you as you walk. Let me give you an example of that. These are called the Flock Condor cameras. The Flock Condor camera system is designed for wider area monitoring and can automatically detect, zoom in, and track.
Okay, we got that. Check this out. Flock safety system captured this lady driving with her phone on her lap, face down, and the state mailed her a 1,251 ticket because of public safety. This is with her phone on her lap, face down. Apparently.
Just got a $1,250 ticket in the mail for having my phone on my lap, face down, and both hands on the steering wheel. Pretty cool. Just got a $1,200.
Oh, so they're just, yeah, it's like another like way to like get a bunch of fucking money too, is like, actually, we saw you with your phone and you weren't looking at it or anything. You weren't distracted. You were parked here, but you had it on your lap. So that's going to be 1,250. Oh my God. Yeah. This is fake. Screenshot happened in Australia. This is the flock safety. Yeah. Okay, buddy. Okay, but okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. You're a company of scumbags. Your time is coming for you. You'll be held to a judicial account for the innocent people you harass with your garbage system. Get even a cheap dash cam to have your side of the story on film, at least on the traffic side. This is about $50 on Home Depot. It's a discrete dash cam. Jesus Christ, that's a CEO. It just started popping up, popping up, popping up. This is just plate tracking, it's movement tracking to create a detailed map and database of where people go, when, and with whom. Founding fathers designed our Constitution to safeguard individual liberty against unchecked government or private power. They would not have tolerated this level of pervasive, warrantless monitoring of free citizens in public spaces. Neither should we. Demand transparency, push for accountability, get the flock out now. Contact your local officials, support efforts to limit or remove these systems, and stay informed. Privacy is not a luxury, it is a fundamental right. So they've been found at bike paths, natural trails, or not natural, nature trails, public parks, wilderness areas, community pools, reproductive clinics, schools and preschools, entrance to state parks, gyms and recreation centers, children's gymnastics rooms. It's not play tracking, it's people tracking. Yeah. So retroactive tracking. Let's see, hold on. It allows police to search the past, not just monitor the present. Without Flock, police can only watch a suspect moving forward in time. With Flock, people can type a license plate into a database. Of course, a rule that people have a reasonable expectation of privacy in the whole of their physical movements. Storage creates a time machine that lets the government look backwards into your life without a warrant. Creation of a mosaic of daily life. Yeah, it's like people. It is people tracking. The Supreme Court noted that this type of deep retrospective look into a person's private life requires a warrant. Tracking the innocent, lack of judicial oversight. Because Flock is a private database, police query it without a judge's permission. No warrant required. Officers do not need to show probable cause to search the 30-day history of a car. Low bar for searching. Next thing you know, they're going to just start like putting surveillance in people's housing, their own houses, you know? As if they don't kind of maybe already do that in subtle ways or whatever with your computers or some shit. Or your phones already technically. They already kind of technically do this. So, pretty gross. Just said, all new cars sold in the EU are now required to include an infrared camera that monitors the driver's eyes and face for distraction. So anytime you're like, quote unquote, distracted, here's another $1,000 charge. Here's a ticket. Here's another ticket. Here's another ticket. Cleveland organized to get rid of Flock and won, but instead of accepting the democratic process, the mayor and city council president forced a revote. So residents are coming out again to testify against this AI surveillance company, and some are spitting fire.
That's the stuff that we don't support. Flock and a whole cameras don't prevent crime. As our previous comment I made, we do need to invest in our youth and our cities. There's a lot of complaints.
Didn't I have my music playing? Oh, that's why. Okay. Well, what chill music? Yeah, that's perfect, actually.
In the last week, right? It was really hot. We had power outages. The pools aren't all open. That's the stuff that your residents want, and that would help reduce crime because it gives people a place to go and something to do. They're not frustrated. Why do people commit crime? Because they're desperate. They're not committing crime because they're, well off and have a happy life and all their needs are met. Their needs are not met, and that's why they're committing these crimes. So we need to focus on helping our residents live good lives in the city, and obviously we need to equip the police with resources, but those resources don't need to be for-profit companies' goals to increase shareholder value. That's how a for-profit tech company works. Their goal is to get as big as possible and then either go on the public stock exchange or sell to someone else and make their investors money. We are not their investor. They're not in for us. We are their products. Our data is their products. And they're not going to always be honest. You cannot trust a big tech company not to lie. We know this from many other big tech companies. It's not a surprise. It's sort of how business works, unfortunately. And so we need to keep them out of our city and focus on
actually just spitting
nonprofit and government solutions that we control and have access to. And it's just sort of built for the people, by these pro people. And there's lots of people in the city that help us do that. I think that's all I got to say. I know it's more time, but I hope you continue to vote no. Again, we already made this vote 2 weeks ago. But yeah, keep the data on. Thank
you. Guilty until proven innocent. Police are misusing Flock technology. Wow, surprise, surprise. Holy, shocking.
We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing.
Chrisana Elzer learned the power.
It's so gross to just say that as if it's like it should be normal.
Town, you can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing.
Chrisana Elzer learned the power of Flock firsthand.
You were in town from 11:52 until 12:09. Exactly. Like I said, nothing gets in or out of the town without us knowing.
When a Colorado police officer showed up at her door holding Flock snapshot.
Deranged fucking loser. You fucking lunatic.
Of her truck.
And here's when you left. At 12:09. That's when you left town.
To get?
No, to stop at Ridge Trail.
Wait a minute.
And take a package. Well, there's no shushing. I don't need to be.
I need to know where this is.
The first thing he pulled out on the body cam is that Flock picture. The clear.
Take a package. Is she like steal something?
photograph of your car.
But here's your vehicle in the neighborhood many, many times, apparently casing houses, because you just can't drive through for work or visit other businesses. You could.
Oh, dude, it's even more deranged. It's like he didn't even see like a crime happen. He's going up and he's like schizo posting. He's like, "Why are you casing? Are you casing houses? Are you casing houses? Deranged. Get the fuck off my property, you fucking scumbag. Fuck off."
Only be casing houses.
It is her. It is 100%. It is locked in. There is zero doubt. I wouldn't have come here unless I was 100% sure. 100%. It is certain. It is on video. You're obviously welcome to go to court.
Chrisana was charged with stealing a package, but it wasn't her. The porch pirate was somebody else.
Oh shit. So they didn't even use it correctly. They got the wrong person. It's not like the same person. I can see how this guy thinks it's her, but they're just misusing the technology and not being thorough enough.
Chrisana was charged with stealing a package, but it wasn't her. The porch pirate was somebody else.
Multiple times you tried to show him your video evidence. He didn't want to see it.
No, even when I called him back, he said, "That's not my job."
You looked at a time of a crime. You saw my vehicle entering in the flock.
No, what I did was, I did an investigation.
You called my wife a liar. You saying this is fact.
I have video evidence. I don't know what you want me to say.
The charges were dropped after Chrisana spent weeks trying to get the police chief to...
It's like, yeah, I have video evidence, and it's like, it's not the same person. You can see the quality too, or you can't even verifiably know that it's the same person. There's plenty of people that can have like certain physiques or like color hair that's like relatively similar. What a deranged fucking lunatic. Improper to be using that fucking technology in the first place, but you're not even you shouldn't be using it at all, but you're not using it correctly. You're like schizo posting and being like, well, you stole this package. It's like, that's not me, bro. It's not me.
You tried to show him your video evidence. He didn't want to see it.
No, even when I called him.
And like, then when you're like, here's video evidence that it fucking wasn't me. I shouldn't have to have like my own, I shouldn't be like videotaping myself 24/7 or some shit like that. I shouldn't have to do that to be able to prove that I didn't fucking do anything. It's not me, you fucking scumbag. You can't even like thoroughly look at it. You can't even get a clear picture that it's me.
Back, he said, "That's not my job."
You looked at a time of a crime. You saw my vehicle entering in the flock.
No, what I did was, I did an investigation.
You called my wife a liar. You saying this is fact.
I have video evidence. I don't know what you want me to say.
The charges were dropped after Chrisana spent weeks trying to get the police chief to look at her evidence. Time-stamped video from her truck and a neighbor's doorbell camera showing she wasn't at the scene of the crime.
What does it say about where we are that you feel you have to have more cameras than the police have in order to make sure you can prove yourself innocent?
It sounds like it flipped the script to you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
True.
Without a flock camera, that detective would not have been at her door. By his own admission, he pulled out the flock picture of her car. Do you want to apologize to Chrisana Elzer for what happened to her?
For the police misusing the tools? I don't think that I have to apologize
for him. He wasn't charged with a crime. He wasn't, I mean, other than being
again, I have so many TOS things. I think these people should be basically considered like total treasonous traitors. Jail cell, please.
For his attitude.
Sure. No, but I would tell you that, like, should I apologize for somebody misusing a tool? I don't think so.
Flock Safety Chief Communications Officer Josh Thomas.
Who's watching the watchers in these cases?
Well, the city council. The city owns the data, so city council would have the appropriate responsibility.
Trust the city council with that shit.
In that case, our point.
Why would I trust the? Why would we? Guys have not been responsible at all.
View has always been that it is not Flock's job to police the way police do their work.
We have cameras.
We'll just give them the technology to be able to do it, though. Okay. Why don't you just sit it out? Why don't you just not involve yourself at all? Oh, this is not exactly Flock related. I think it's similar, though. You're a past chat control. That means that they can now officially legally read your every text, scan your every photo, read every email, examine every communication, build an entire inescapable 24/7 digitally surveilled profile on you to arrest you for sending memes while they let grooming games. Okay, this is like... This might be like a company, like a guy who's like a little bit more racist or something like that. It's a dark day for... Like, I agree with the sentiment, though. Like, I'm not sure if this is, like, one of those really, really insane people, though. Like, one of those, like, Republican-esque, racist people. You just know when the language like the grooming game things. It's like you have to wonder. Crypto, following fintech, crypto, AI, longevity, politics. Like this is the kind of person that's now complaining about this kind of stuff when they like were contributors to like this all being normalized. Yeah, interesting. A diarrhea causing parasite has now infected over 1,000 Americans, spreading across 29 states. We just live in hell, guys. It's going to get worse and worse. Climate change is going to be here. Diseases are going to be spread. Flock surveillance is everywhere. You can't take a shit without being recorded. Yeah, we're cooked. We're done. Last year, RFK Jr. and Elon Musk dissolved the CDC office responsible for preventing parasitic infections. They did the thing. Everyone gets a puppy. Diarrhea forever. 49.9%. Dude, thanks single-handedly, thanks to Trump and this guy, we're just gonna have like so many illnesses. Oh, and this guy, this lovely fucking piece of shit. A metadata center in Wyoming has infected the local water system with a rare bacterium known as Cupriavidius gileardi. I don't even know. Isn't he getting sued? Where did I have this? He's getting sued. The whole company is getting sued for like a lot of money. Where is this at? I thought I had this like close by. Did I not place this like close by the story where he's getting sued? Where is this at? Oh, I feel like I gaslit myself here. I swore I saved this. What the fuck? I thought I set it up. I'm looking at my docket list. Oh, yeah, apparently there it is. Well, there's this part. This is part of the data center thing. Deadly bacteria found in major U.S. cities. Wastewater system tied to an $800 million data center owned by Mark Zuckerberg. During construction of Mark Zuckerberg's 215,000 square feet AI data center campus, Project Cosmo in China, wastewater from the fill and flush process allegedly introduced, I'm just going to call it Cupria for now, into the city's reclaimed water system. City officials revoked discharge rights, shut down irrigation for parks, and spent months cleaning up. Drinking water was not affected, but the backlash is real. This is only the beginning of the fallout from data centers that make it to the news. Most stories are being covered up. There was another thing that involved him, where he's getting sued for like basically like it's like staggering how much he's getting sued for. Meta says it's facing, Meta as a company is facing 1.4 trillion in penalties in teen mental health case, a sum equivalent to tech giants' valuation. 1.4 trillion. That's insane. That's awesome. There's more to the story here, but do I have to subscribe to read it? Don't tell me I have to subscribe. Don't be that way. Four of the states suing Meta for allegedly fueling a teen mental health crisis prevail in their case. The company will be on the hook for a whopping 1.4 trillion in penalties. Meta says, a figure the tech giant blasted as outlandish. The Mark Zuckerberg-led company arrived at the gigantic sum, which is nearly as large as the company's entire market cap, based on how the attorneys general of California, Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey have argued penalties should be calculated if they win the case. Two sides are scheduled to face off in Oakland federal court on August 18th. A sanction of that size has no analog in the history of consumer protection enforcement, Meta's attorneys wrote in the late Monday filing, adding that the state proposals were unsubstantiated and outlandish. A total of 29 states were attached to a lawsuit against Meta, which accuses the company of major violations of the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. The legislation bars the collection of data from underage users without parental consent. They further allege that Facebook and Instagram were designed to be addictive to kids, causing a wave of issues ranging from anxiety and depression to self-harm and even suicide. Awesome. Fuck you, Meta. Fuck you, Meta. Let's go. They're also targeting Meta for allegedly misleading the public about safety risk. Meta, which has strenuously denied wrongdoing, said the 4 states' proposed remedies go far beyond the scope of the case. They also accuse Meta of improperly double or even triple counting teen users who allegedly experience harm based on how long they use Facebook and Instagram each day. These remedies have no basis in the record in the case, are entirely unmoored for the claim deceptive statements or unfair practices, or based on features this court has held are immune from liability under Section 230 and violate the legal and due process limits on the scope of Unfair Practices Act penalties. The company's lawyers wrote, referring to a section of the Communications Act of 1934 that broadly protects online platforms from being held liable for content posted by their users. While the state's specific proposals remain under seal, plaintiff attorneys said at a court hearing last month that they were guided by local laws and the estimated number of underage users in each state who were affected. The lawsuit alleges Meta has prioritized profits over the safety of kids and fueled the mental health crisis we see impacting a generation of American children. Meta faces more than 2,400 pending lawsuits brought by school districts, parents, governments, and what critics have described as the big tobacco moment for social media. $1.4 trillion penalty is likely far higher than what Meta will ultimately face in the case brought by. It would be higher. In the KGM case, Meta and a fellow defendant Google were ordered to pay a total of $6 million in damages, with Meta on the hook for 70% of the sum. Dude, it's so awesome. It's so cool. Fuck you, Zuckerberg. Yeah, they also let people use your photos for AI. They have a thing on their Instagram. You can turn it off. This is on by default, but you won't be notified, and it's on you to opt out. It's part of Muse Images, Meta's new AI model built into Instagram. If your profile is public, someone can type your username into a prompt, and Meta AI will build images around your photos. Yeah, you can turn this off. To turn it off, go to your Instagram profile. Okay. Tap the 3 lines in the top right corner. You see that? Okay. Now you scroll down to sharing and reuse. You find allow people to use your content on Instagram and with AI features on Meta. Then you turn off the toggles for both posts and reels. Also going private blocks it too, but either way, anything that's already been generated with your photos stays out there. Fun. Isn't that fun? Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? They didn't even fucking ask. They didn't even fucking ask you. They didn't even do the bare basics of asking you. Jesus, man. What's wrong with them? It is currently testing super sensing AI glasses that will continuously record surrounding audio while snapping pictures every few seconds. The new hardware also gets rid of the LED light that notifies bystanders while the glasses are recording. Surveillance state, like even more of a surveillance state. Wow, I can't wait. The California Social Club hosted a discussion on surveillance states, debating how to balance civil liberties and public safety. Then Flock sent them a cease and desist. They sent a cease and desist prohibiting any discussion that reveals that describes reveal, analyze, or speculate about the technical capabilities, strengths, weaknesses, or vulnerabilities of non-governmental surveillance assets and related technologies. Jesus Christ. Worst politicians in the world want digital ID to censor the free internet because the internet caught Israel killing children in Gaza. True, very true. All right, let's read more hell. More hell. We have so much hell to go through. Like, this is not even 2% of hell. It's not even 2% of hell. We're barely at 1. Australia's generating so much solar power that some households now get 3 hours of free electricity while we don't have solar energy. We don't have solar power. We don't use solar power. Oh my god. They ended subsidies for solar and wind while our oil reserves are literally depleted. U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve is now 19 mm barrels away from estimated minimum operating levels. There very soon will be no longer be a safety buffer to protect the world from further losses out of the Strait of Hormuz. Remember when Trump said we will run out of reserves at about 4 weeks on June 17th? Oh my god. Just imagine how, like... Just imagine the world had, like, Trump lost. It'd probably be still really shit. But would it be this fucking bad? It'd probably be a delay. I'll say that. It would be a strong delay. A Harris presidency, I think we would have got here anyway. It would have been delayed. Oh my god. In a hearing where residents grilled officials on data centers, a resident of Tyrone Township, Michigan, asked a simple question. Have you signed an NDA with any party regarding developments that could affect the town? And the majority of the township's officials refused the answer.
Have you personally signed any NDA, any agreement, or had any private communication, such as meetings, phone calls, text messages, or emails, with any developer, company, landowner, or representative regarding any current or potential project that could affect Tyrone Township? Chris Robetta.
No.
Dean?
No.
Jennifer?
I'm not answering your question. This is not the time or place.
I can ask you whatever I want. Don't tell me what I can
but
say.
We don't have to answer you.
But you're communicating
So she's bought. Yeah, that's what she means. She's bought and paid for.
with me, Jennifer. I didn't think you were supposed to do that. Greg Carnes, how about you? Yes or no?
Not the place.
He's bought. Like, I think they're smarter about just saying no. But their faces. These two are guilty written all over them, and the way they reacted to that.
We've already discussed this. So.
Who's already discussed it? I'm sorry? Who's already discussed
This
it?
has been discussed.
Who has? Who's discussed it? I've not discussed this with you. What are you saying? Pam Loeffler? Yes or no?
Guilty. Won't answer.
Herman Ferguson?
Guilty. Won't answer.
Won't answer. Zach Tucker?
Mike, stop. You say
Excuse
guilty
me?
one more time, you're out. I'm not tolerating.
Stop the clock, please. While Greg's talking, I'd like my time back, please.
I don't need the comment in the background.
I need my time back. And quit interrupting me. Zach Tucker? But you answered at the plan.
Compromise. Get rid of all of them. Compromise. Get rid of all of them.
But you've decided not to answer now. Well, at least you're not looking as angry at me this time. I guess you're checking yourself.
Compromise. Easy. Let's Tyrone Township members. Feel free to find them and relentlessly question them until completely satisfied. Haha. Interesting. Oh my god. That's awful. That's awful. Destroy AI and data centers. The fuck you mean you took 400,000 people's power in extreme cold so fucking data centers could continue using electricity, you piece of shit. The CEO of the biggest electricity company in the U.S. is warning that blackouts could hit next year as AI and data centers drive up electricity demands and strain the grid. Exelon's CEO Calvin Butler told the Financial Times that Americans could absolutely lose power as soon as 2027. Wow. He says that the last winter, as company nearly limited service for 400,000 customers during extreme cold. Okay. Wow, it's like, it's very draining on your soul a little bit. It's like all this overwhelming, just like disgusting shit. I can't believe this is real. The FDA just accepted a petition to irradiate raw enriched wheat flour with up to 30 kilogray of ionizing radiation to kill off E. coli and Salmonella. For context, 3 to 4 kilogray would be instantly lethal to humans. Apart from the immense radiation, it's worth mentioning what's already happening to your flour. Conventional milling strips the bran and germ entirely, removing most of the fiber, magnesium, zinc, and B vitamins. A 2021 paper in the journal Nutrients links refined grain consumption to gut dysbiosis and systematic inflammation. To cut to the chase, what this means is the baseline product is already working against your microbiome or whatever the fuck, microbiome. Now add in the high dose of ionizing radiation on top of that. More research shows irradiation at any level can further degrade B vitamins. So just to be clear, here's what's happening. Conventional milling strips the natural B vitamins, which are then added back with synthetic versions. This new irradiation process would zap the enriched flour, which has the potential to degrade the added synthetic B vitamins. You can't make this up. For context, on the radiation measurements, the mentioned numbers above are off. For radiation, whole body acute exposure around 3 to 4 gray is often cited as potentially lethal. Food irradiation uses KGY, and the energy is targeted at the food product, not a living organism's whole body. The FDA has approved up to 30 KGY for dry spices, herbs, and seasonings for microbial control. Lower doses are used for other purposes like insect control in wheat and flour. They've even used higher for pathogens in meat and poultry. Irradiation does not make food radioactive, but it does damage microbial DNA to kill and inactivate pathogens. The issue here is, why do we need to do this? There has to be other ways than using something that damages DNA on our food.
Irradiate raw enriched wheat flour with up to 30 kilogray of ionizing radiation to kill off E. coli and Salmonella. For context, 3 to 4 kilogray would be instantly lethal to humans. The petition was filed earlier this month by Sterigenics and is now open for public comment. Apart from the immense radiation, it's worth mentioning what's already happening to your flour. Conventional milling strips the bran and germ entirely, removing most of the fiber, magnesium, zinc, and B vitamins. A 2021 paper in the journal Nutrients links refined grain consumption to gut dysbiosis and systemic inflammation. To cut to the chase, what this means is the baseline product is already working against your microbiome. Now add in a high dose of ionizing radiation on top of that. More research shows irradiation at any level can further degrade B vitamins. So just to be clear, here's what's happening. Conventional milling strips the natural B vitamins, which are then added back with synthetic versions. This new irradiation process would zap the enriched flour, which has the potential to degrade the added synthetic B vitamins. You can't make this up.
I know it's crazy, but this petition is real and it's recent, as of 2026 in June. Right here are the details. So one thing just to note is that he got
Human lethality, food irradiation doses,
the measurement's a little bit wrong in the video. For lethal exposure, you would need about this measurement, and the measurement that is used on food is different. It's measured in kGY versus GY. So the math is a little bit different, but the issue is this stuff is still dangerous. Now, irradiation may not make food radioactive, but what it does do is damages microbial DNA to kill or inactivate pathogens. So it is strong enough to do something to DNA. And the FDA has approved this for spices, herbs, seasoning. It's been used for insect control. It's also been used on pathogens for meat and poultry. So it's not like this hasn't been used before, but
I feel sick. Jesus Christ. Defense Department was funded with a budget of nearly $1 trillion, but is running out of cash. According to the 3 U.S. officials, a former defense official, outside experts, and 2 congressional staff members. Save money, maybe you should skip breakfast. Jesus Christ. Florida is rolling out AI-powered cameras on its garbage trucks to scan properties for code violations, unpermitted renovations, and other issues. After installing flock cameras on poles, the city is now adding mobile surveillance from trash trucks to monitor homes and yards. Wow. Gotta say, I'm loving it.
Very interesting things that we are exploring right now with AI. Code has already looked at a software that will put cameras on trash trucks that drive up and down every single street. And that software has the ability to identify bad roofs, broken windows. We could easily, if we deploy this, we could look at saying, tell us when there's construction material at the curb. Because if someone's got an entire tub and a kitchen at their curb, it's likely they're doing a remodel that needs a permit. So we're not there yet. We've demoed it and we've looked at it. The issue then becomes, well, what if we get 3,000 of them a week? Then we don't even have a manpower issue to resolve. So we're exploring how to best deploy it, figuring out what the costs are. But there are some very unique and innovative AI software tools that are coming out to help code with some of these issues.
What about like heftier fines on the people that are cut?
Sir?
Oh my god, I'm trying so hard not to say something so fucking. I have the most TOS thing I could possibly think of right now. I'm gonna lose it, man. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. Ah. Denims calls out Guam's misleading claim that Hassan asked people to donate to Plattner's campaign. Denims adds that she hasn't seen people reconcile the fact that Hassan did materially more for Harris, yet he didn't endorse her, but by the same standard, he somehow endorsed Plattner.
Context is,
I think it's all vibes primarily. Most of like the things that like Hassan is saying about Plattner for the most part comes off as more charitable, comes off as more like of an endorsement by comparison, in terms of advocation by comparison to Harris. You know, there's a lot more critical things to like get on Harris about in specific. That's why like the vibes is meaningfully distinct. I will say, I don't think he's ever asked, I do think this is true, I don't think he's ever asked somebody to donate to Plattner, and he hasn't campaigned with him, but he did say, like, on his stream that he's Team Plattner. He's working with the DSA. DSA functionally endorses him. So I wouldn't say he campaigned, he definitely didn't campaign with him. He definitely didn't say to donate to him, as far as I can tell. But he functionally, you know, it's like saying with like Majority Reporter Kyle Kulinski, there was like Team Plattner. They were just like, you know, pretty much advocating in the interest for Plattner to win. Let's be real. I mean, that was happening. No,
like I said, it's always the exact same voices right now that are going after Hassan on this. Like, girl with the microphone. Notable.
I mean, I do agree with the sentiment though, like that, like since he was advocating for Plattner to win, You could say it was like the same case for Harris. He was just it's just more transparently, openly critical of Harris in general. I think you can make the argument that he was a little bit more favorable towards Plattner in terms of like policy wise, especially since he leaned more towards a socialist bent, and Harris definitely was like more establishment. Yeah.
For her, does she not know that public opinion does not?
I think this might be a little bit of cope on Denham's part. Let's be real. This might be a little bit of cope.
Going after Hassan on this, like, girl with a microphone, notable for her. Does she not know that public opinion does not equal court of public opinion does not equal actual court? How many of y'all gave to Plattner because Hassan told you to do so? I've never asked anyone to donate to Plattner, nor have I campaigned with him. LMAO, what the fuck is this hallucination? And then this community note kept going up and down and up and down and up and down because it doesn't disprove what he said. Hassan here saying, I didn't ask people to donate and I didn't campaign with him. And the context
like
is
the actual tweet in and of itself is like ridiculously stupid because nobody gave to Plattner because Hassan told them to. No one donated necessarily because donated to Plattner because Hassan told them to. There's probably more a favorable perception for sure of like Plattner because of like some of the things that Hassan has said about Plattner for sure.
He publicly endorsed him as Team Plattner and his go and defended him on stream.
He did say this. He did defend him on stream, and he did amplify his campaign launch video.
And the context is, he publicly endorsed him as Team Plattner and his go and defended him on stream. None of these things are saying, amplified his campaign launch video, sources confirm he backed the campaign before reversing. None of these things say that he donated or campaigned with him.
Asked anyone to donate. Yeah, functionally, no. But he said, I'm Team Plattner. That's my GOAT. He amplified his campaign launch video. If you're amplifying a campaign launch video and you're defending him on stream, functionally, what you're doing is not like a flat out, like, you know, non-critique endorsement. But, like, it's not that much of a stretch to say that, like, I wouldn't put it like how a girl with a microphone put it here. I wouldn't say, oh yeah, Hassan told you to donate to this person. But in effect, did this guy not basically, you know, sanitize Graham Plattner, right? Did he not basically suggest that this was the guy? This is our guy for Maine? That's basically what he did do. He did do that.
What?
Like, Denham's is like coping hard here. I'm sorry, but this is just the case.
He didn't argue that he didn't say those things.
Like, the effect of all this stuff can get you can have people going up and donating to Plattner's cause. You know what I mean?
What?
Like, Denham's is trying way too hard here. I'm sorry, this is like a Denham's L. Easy Denham's L.
Mm-hmm. Also, these are the exact same people, by the way, who are saying he never endorsed Kamala Harris. It's like, okay, so he did more for Kamala Harris, but he never endorsed Kamala Harris, and he's the reason we have Trump.
I would probably agree that, like, did he do more for Harris? Probably. I would agree with that sentiment. I still agree with that sentiment, yeah. Like, like, functionally, if, like, the critique is only that, like, oh, like, now you guys are, like, by these standards, it's like, how did he not endorse Harris? Like, I would agree. It's like, how did he not functionally, and basically the real reason is vibes. The real reason is because Hassan was critical of Harris. Hassan wasn't like flat out on board with every single thing that Harris did. In fact, it was more so like vote the lesser evil kind of vibes. It's basically vibes. It really is. Like, it amounts to vibes. And to be honest, you know, even with how Hassan talks about like Plattner as soon as the next allegation, when the newest allegation came out, when he's a little bit more hesitant to be fully on board, and he's like, well, you know, maybe like there's a little bit of setup before he actually read into the story. He's like, you know, oh, like, well, like, there's been a smear campaign or whatever. There's been a smear campaign. It's like, guys, there's like meaningful things to critique this guy over. There's plenty to like to go over. He gave them the easiest amount of different things he's done in his life to be able to say, like, you shouldn't trust this guy.
Hassan personally caused Trump, but also he personally endorsed Plattner. Oh, okay. All right. Interesting.
Well,
Like
functionally, he did. No, like in functionality, like maybe there's not like an explicit like statement of like. I feel like saying I'm Team Plattner is basically an endorsement. At that point, like, is it not? That's just go defending them on stream, amplifying it. Like, I think that's enough to be like basically like. Like, do you have to say the words, like, if you want to get particular with the language, you have to say the words like, go donate to him now for this to, like, be true? I mean, come on, let's get a little real here. Let's not live in fairy tale land. Is it very weird because you can see the difference with Hassan Street's El Sayed versus Graham, even with coverage, you'll almost always bring up Graham's red flags. But in the moments that he's bringing up these red flags, and, like, it is important to bring up the red flags, it's more so, like an air of ambiguity. There's not much, like, critique. There's not much enough meaningful critique, you know what I mean? And it's basically just pragmatics. And I get why he, like, goes for that angle, but it's, like, I don't know, man. Like, I just, like, if you'd be, like, heavily critical of Harris, you know, for her complicity in genocide, you would imagine it would be the same set of standards for, like, Graham, you know? Hassan just said that he was on his team and that he was the greatest of all time. Why would anyone conclude that they should support him after that? Yeah. Wait, hold on. Why would anyone conclude? I think this person may have meant, why would they not conclude that they should support him after that? Yeah. In functionality, it's basically, yeah, like Denims is reaching here. Let's see. Let's try to get a Denims win here, okay? Let's be generous. This is an easy Denims win, I imagine. Denim reviews the logs between Asmon and Emeru leaked by Miskiff, where Asmon discusses passwords he's made using the N-word. Do you ever riz up women telling that your passwords are variations of the N-word?
Someone sent this Miz tweet earlier. Hey, Asmongold, are you going to react to your Queen Emeru's 48 minutes of lies? Or do you want to keep hitting on her, saying how cool you are for using the N-word as passwords at 33 years old? Emeru sent this to me in a screenshot years ago. I'm sorry, what?
I'm surprised he didn't post this sooner, to be honest. Miskiff, really saving all this stuff. Maybe he forgot about this. It's possible he forgot about this, to be honest.
So is this what he meant by demon mode? Emeru said, a creative, huh? And then Asmongold wrote the N-word with, like, different letters and numbers. Like, I'm talking really creative shit like that. This isn't even creative. Screenshot. Emeru says, screenshotted JK. He said, at a certain point, he wasn't even the word anymore, LOL. Everyone knows I said it, don't worry. Emeru said, Omega lol. Asmon says, I think I even have videos of me saying it. Emeru says, really, LOL? Asmon says, yeah, I have like super bad stuff online and no one cares. Emeru says, but Pokimane is a racist for her clips, but you don't try to act perfect, I guess. Omega laughing. Asmon says, yeah, that's why people hate her, not because of the words, LOL, it's the fakeness 100%. I feel like Mizkif is pretty much over the canceled stuff, but it's always going to be there. And he can't joke around with it like I know he would because of OTK. LOL. You ever riz up women by telling them that your passwords are variations of the N-word?
It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. That's the best riz you can do. That's the best riz you can do. Denims has every single right to dunk on him, or a powerful misogynistic man was and still is trying to financially ruin Denims, and she decided to add her unnecessary opinion siding with the misogynist. She thinks she was going to be protected for sexism by siding with Asmongold. What else is happening? EU Parliament voted 311 to 228 in March to kill chat control. Parliament rejected it, dead, expired April 3rd. Council's own lawyers said it violates the right to privacy under EU law. Signal said that they would leave Europe rather than scan messages. WhatsApp said the same. 500 cryptographers signed an open letter calling it dangerous. Everyone said no. Yesterday, the EU Council brought it back anyway, using a second reading procedure that requires Parliament to find 361 absolute votes to kill it again. That threshold is almost impossible to hit. The Parliament voted 311 against. Now they need 361 against. The Council used a procedure that has no clear precedent in EU history. Roberta Metsola, the President of Parliament, is helping push it through, even though Parliament she leads already rejected it. The vote is Thursday. If it passes, platforms must scan every message before encryption happens. Hash matching against known databases. Machine learning for unknown material. Real-time text analysis for grooming patterns. All warrantless, all without judicial oversight, all catching innocent people at 13 to 20% false positive rates. Millions of flags per day in the EU, all of it. The Parliament said no. The Council heard no, scheduled to vote Thursday anyway. The rules of democracy do not apply when the outcome is predetermined. The social contract of democracy has been broken. You're not bound to it anymore. They are supposed to represent your interests, not theirs. You chose them for your interests, not theirs. You have the duty of rebellion for your sake and your beloved one's sake. Video shows ICE agent pinning a 15-year-old boy during Utah arrest. Wow, amazing. Did he just punch him? Why the fuck did he punch him? The fuck is he arresting him?
Sure.
Oh, no, he didn't punch him. He just slammed his face in.
Sure.
Oh, Jesus Christ. On July 7th, 2026, in Salt Lake City Rose Park neighborhood, a woman filmed ICE agents entering a home and restraining the teen while arresting an older man identified as his grandfather. She repeatedly insisted both are U.S. citizens, demanded a warrant, and noted the man's recent diabetes diagnosis, but no warrant appears in the footage. That boy was released, yet the man was carried out by his legs despite looking flawed. The video has drawn sharp criticism over possible Fourth Amendment issues amid expanded ICE use of administrative warrants.
Sir, what is your name? Back up! Back up now! Back up! Give a name? Back up! Give a name? Back up now! Go! Give a name? Go! I'm not in your way, walk! I'm not in your way, back I'm not in your way, walk! Back walk! I'm not in your way! I'm not in your way! I'm not in your way! Back up now! Your car's there, I'm not in your way! Sam, right here. Back up! Back up! I'm not in your way! Back up! I'm not in your way! Back up!
Disgusting criminals, man. Roger, a good 70% of cops have done something on duty that they need to spend a minimum of 15 years in prison for? Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about it. This will only escalate as we get closer to election day. Yup. Yeah, like this guy's father died because of an ICE officer over in Houston.
Thank you, members of the press, elected officials, especially Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia, who spent a couple hours with me at Bentop Hospital. Thank you, friends, for showing up. Family members, former students of mine that I saw in the crowd. Thanks for coming. I have a prepared statement I would like to read to you guys. I am Ronaldo Salgado, the oldest son of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo. I want to tell you about my dad. He was a hard-working family man who never wanted his name to be known by anyone outside of his family. He wanted nothing else in life but to provide for his wife and see his sons become great people. He was also a man of routine. For the majority of the last 35 years of his life in the United States, he began the day the same way and always ended it by coming home, sitting on the porch, eating a hearty meal made by my mother, going to sleep, and doing it all over again the next day. Let me tell you about my father's last day alive, with as much detail as possible because it's vividly replaying in my head over and over again. At 5 a.m., my mom and dad woke up before the rest of the world did. My dad brushed his teeth, he showered. My mom cooked him a huge meal for him to eat that day. At 5:50, my dad got dressed, grabbed his lunch and coffee, hugged and kissed my mom goodbye, slipped on his hat for the day, loaded his lunch, his work boots, his coffee in his work van. He patted our dog on his head goodbye and drove off to pick up his crew for work. At 6:45 a.m., he should have been picking up the last of his guys before heading to North Houston to finish up construction on some houses. 5 minutes later, unbeknownst to me, at 6:55, unbeknownst to all of us, my dad had been shot inside his van near the intersection of Wayside Canal by ICE agents in unmarked cars. I want to tell you about my day. Around
Got
7 a.m.,
shot in his van.
I was notified by my mom that something bad had happened to my dad. We didn't know what. All we knew is that it was ICE related. At 7:05, 5 minutes after, I left the house, drove all the way up to his work site an hour away to find any evidence of his van. Had he been detained by ICE, he would have wanted the van to be delivered to the work site so that the other workers that were there could finish up the houses and the families could get paid. By 8 a.m., after not finding any evidence, I saw a Facebook post on the Southeast Houston Facebook page about ICE activity on the intersection of Wayside and Canal. It's a place where I've called home. The East End has been our home. I live not too far away from there, so I'm familiar with the area. I didn't think it was him, but I had to make sure. By 8:35 a.m., I arrived in the East End to find Canal Street blocked off. I saw my dad's van, but no sign of him. I frantically called family, friends, loved ones to see if they can find any information. I saw a video posted on Facebook that he had been shot. I recognized him immediately. Not from his appearance, but from his voice, crying for help as he lay on the street, bleeding out. I stayed on site for hours, talking to officers and or anyone.
They had to
get
figure out for social media. It's fucking
me any answers.
horrible.
I encountered a representative from LULAC, Conchita Reyes, who got in contact with Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia to confirm that my dad, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, had been taken to Bentop Hospital, but his condition was unknown. With all the hope in the world, I drove to Bentop Hospital, the hospital that I was born in, my brother Lorenzo Jr. was born in, and my youngest was born in. I went to Bentop Hospital and demanded answers, but no one could give them to me. I learned of my father's passing from a news report on social media, not the hospital, not law enforcement. Through a collective effort from local organizations and elected officials, we got answers. My father's
It's just going to be one of many different things that happen. Renee Good,
I had to call my mom right away to give her the terrible
Alex
news of my
Preddy,
dad's passing before she had to
this,
find out the same
just
way I did.
numerous victims put into concentration camps. Deadly ICE shooting sparks outrage and calls for independent probe.
There are growing calls for an independent investigation into a deadly ICE shooting that took place in Houston on Tuesday. The family of the man killed is demanding federal officials release.
None of the people who brutally murdered Alex Preddy or Renee Good are held accountable. No investigations, let alone arrests. No, nothing.
All the evidence associated with the incident. MS Now's Britt Miller has more.
My father was a private man, a man who dedicated his life to work.
A son struggling to hold back his tears.
He did not deserve to be reduced to a headline of Mexican man shot and killed by ICE.
After an ICE agent opened fire on his father, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, killing him. It happened in Houston, Texas Tuesday, as family says Araujo and 3 others headed to work at a construction site. Department of Homeland Security says ICE agents were stopping.
On July 7, 2026, at approximately 6:50 a.m. CT, ICE law enforcement attempted to conduct a vehicle stop as part of a targeted enforcement operation to arrest an illegal alien. The driver of the vehicle, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, I'm pronouncing that wrong, I believe. An illegal alien from Mexico attempted to evade arrest. From information we are receiving, he rammed an ICE law enforcement vehicle, refused to follow multiple verbal commands, and weaponized his vehicle in an attempt to run over an ICE law enforcement officer, resulting in our officer firing his weapon in self-defense. Sure. The driver was struck, and emergency services were immediately contacted. The driver was transported to the hospital where he passed away from his injuries. DHS OIG is leading an investigation into the agent-involved shooting. FBI Houston is leading an investigation into a potential assault on a federal law enforcement officer. This is a developing situation. We will update the public when more information is available.
Araujo's vehicle as part of a targeted enforcement operation when they said the father of three weaponized his vehicle in an attempt to run over an ICE law enforcement officer. They claim the agent then shot Araujo in self-defense. But federal agents have not provided any evidence to support that claim. Family says Araujo was from Mexico, living in the U.S. for 35 years. They say Araujo was in the process of getting his work permit and knew what to do if stopped by ICE.
Had my father seen an emblem of ICE or an emblem that says anything about law enforcement agency, my father would have complied, he would have stopped, he would have not ran away because he feared for his life.
Videos of the moments after the shooting now surfacing on social media. This one shows a man on the ground in a blood-stained shirt, surrounded by ICE agents. By Wednesday night, hundreds of protesters took to the streets of Houston calling for justice. But local reporters tell us their fight is only matched by their fear, saying targeted ICE operations have become common.
They seem to be targeting people who are driving work vans. Some of them are not going outside. Some of them are avoiding going outside because of what happened to Mr. Araujo, and they're afraid that it could happen to them.
Local leaders
relatively understandable
are skeptical, as the Associated Press reports at least 7 others have died after an encounter with federal immigration officers since President Trump's immigration crackdown began.
Remember Minneapolis? Remember Renee Good? Has ICE learned nothing from that experience? We need to make sure that this does not happen with this incident. That is why no one should be asked to simply believe ICE's version of the story. We need to know why Lorenzo was targeted.
And we've learned DHS is leading this investigation into the agent-involved shooting, while the FBI looks into the potential assault of a federal law enforcement officer. But the family and community, they want more, demanding an independent investigation by another agency. Back to you.
Yeah, you know, ICE,
that might make sense.
ICE has been
Maybe
caught,
local authorities.
ICE has been caught lying time and time and time again. Lying time and time again. And the only thing that actually proved those lies was video. And right now we don't know, there doesn't appear to be video of the killing.
But DHS takes the investigation every time out of the hands of the state, out of the hands of local authorities. They take the evidence, they take everything.
If you kill somebody locally in Minneapolis, or if you killed somebody on the
you need more independent investigations. You can't just trust DHS with any of that stuff. They have lost public trust. It shouldn't have been just them doing the investigations in the first place at all anyway. But you certainly, that's no.
So whether it's Minneapolis or the streets of Houston, wherever it is,
Not acceptable.
then you need to have local law enforcement investigating the killings that are happening on their hometown streets. And it just hasn't happened.
Someone who might know something about the Department of Homeland Security and some analysis as to what's happening now is Jay Johnson. Jay, your thoughts on this?
DHS these days is a department that I don't recognize anymore. It's apparent to me that the current secretary, Markwayne Mullin, is trying to get DHS out of the news, less so. But there's a culture that seems to exist among law enforcement within DHS, ICE specifically, that leads to incidents like this. And I'll go back to what Joe just said. There's a vast difference in an investigation when there's a video versus when there is not a video. We saw tragically what happened to Renee Good and Alex Preddy because there was a video. Too often, the written report about an incident like this when there's no video is, he resisted arrest or he had a cardiac incident or something along those lines. And there does need to be an investigation here. I regret to say that in circumstances like this, an agency cannot investigate itself. Yeah. And there should be an independent investigation for credibility's sake involving both federal and local law enforcement and federal and local prosecutors.
Awesome. Wonderful. Two more flock surveillance cameras were chopped down yesterday as 4 destroyed in 3 days. Officials are panicking while the public floods tip lines with savage replies. The cameras are succumbing to heat exhaustion. They're not just licensed prey. Okay, anyway, I'm good for today, I think. I don't know why I turned this off. Oh, yeah, I remember why I turned it off. Is anything else happening today? Like, it's just overwhelming stuff. I know I had a docket list of other things, but... A preliminary hearing. I missed day 1. Oh man, is it just gonna stack up? There's day 2. There's day 3. There's so much to cover on that. There's the primary debate. Former detainee warns ICE will flip the story of the fatal ICE shooting of a Houston man. Well, that's not surprising. Let's see.
If Democrats have any hope of winning control of the Senate this November, virtually every path involves holding each seat that they currently control while flipping 4 Republican-held seats. The most vulnerable of the states that they are currently defending is now Michigan, which MS now rates as a toss-up. With the Democratic primary now less than a month away, the latest poll shows a statistical dead heat. Congresswoman Haley Stevens, a 4-term moderate, has the support of 42% of voters, according to a new Politico poll, while Abdul El Sayed, a progressive former public health...
How's she even get 42%? That's so crazy to me. She's such a dog shit candidate.
...official gets the support of 41%. This is all well within the margin of error. And it is important to note that a full 18% in this survey say they are not sure who they'll support, which means this is a race that could flip at any moment. We have extended invitations to both of the Democratic candidates, and one of them joins me now, Abdul El Sayed.
It's like I'm not sure who I'm going to support, Coughing Baby or Atomic Bomb. Epic Giga Chat or Beta...
candidate for the United States Senate in Michigan. Abdul, thank you for joining us. I just laid out some of the polls, and I think a lot of people know that you had been leading in the polls when it was a 3-person race. But then after Mallory McMorrow dropped, Haley Stevens has closed in on you. So how are you going to win this race? Like, who is your coalition?
McMorrow's 5%. Dude, she was so bad. It's 5% McMorrow. Dude, she tried to go with the whole, like, there was terrorist shootings on Jewish people or whatever, and then, like, she tried to connect it to fucking Hassan, dude. It was so crazy. What a fucking dog shit candidate. Rest in piss, fucking loser. Get fucked.
So thank you first for having me. And I just want to draw attention that that poll wasn't from Politico. That poll seems to be funded by AIPAC. And
I like to see losers like that in the fucking Hague, personally.
Eager to generate this idea that somehow all of these voters who would have supported my past opponent, Mallory McMorrow, are now supporting the current opponent, Haley Stevens. But look,
can I make a point about that? I wanted to ask you about those kind of polls, but since you brought it up, I'm wondering, because I have heard similar things about a poll that you put out that showed that you all were, I think it was something like 13 or 16 points ahead of Haley Stevens. I am somebody that knows intimately polls don't vote, people do. So I guess I take it back to whether the polls are being juiced or not. What is the coalition that you think you can put together to win in this primary?
Well, I'll tell you this. We're already putting it together. I've been up and down the state, 110 different cities now, 450 public events. And polling, you're right, is this really imperfect science. What really matters is who you can energize to bring out. Most polls agree that I am dominating the field among young people, 83-6 at this point. And then you have communities of color, whether that is the black community in Detroit, where I served, or across Wayne County.
I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. He looks a little tired. He's got a little bit of baggage over there. It's probably an exhausting effort to do.
Communities of color, including the Latino community and the Arab and Muslim community. And then you
am I wrong on that?
Have
maybe I'm yeah.
Voters out in the rest of the state, folks who are affiliated with Indivisible. That's done an amazing job organizing. And then, of course, you have labor, dominant, mighty labor in Michigan. We've been proud to earn the endorsement of the UAW, endorsements of the AFT and the National Nurses United, and the vast majority of labor members in the state of Michigan. And more importantly, right, we are having a conversation every single day with folks who are asking, how do we come together to get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, pass Medicare for all? As we all know, in 2024, unfortunately, Michigan went to Donald Trump. And that was because we could not keep a group together that included a lot of those quote unquote undecided or middle voters. I don't know that middle is the right term, but I do know that there are a lot of people who've been alienated by politics on both sides of the aisle. And we're reaching out to them to actually talk about what it looks like to bring people back to the center of our politics rather than be dominated by corporations, which unfortunately, whether you're talking about Haley Stevens or Mike Rogers, tend to be funded that way.
You know, the point you made about 2024, I mean, Michigan elected Donald Trump, but also sent Alyssa Slotkin to the United States Senate. So there were clearly some split ticket voters. I want to go back to the coalition piece here, because when you look at like what Trump did in, which I have thoughts about, what he did in Michigan, Detroit turnout was a little bit softer, right? Macomb County was more Republican. Rural counties definitely maxed out. There were working class voters that moved.
Okay, I'm not going to get anything else out of this. I'm not going to prolong it if there's nothing much I can get out of this. Former Wisconsin judge Hannah Dugan will not serve prison time for obstructing ICE agents.
Former judge convicted of obstructing an ICE arrest will spend no time in federal prison. Hannah Dugan was sentenced today in federal court to a $5,000 fine after she was caught on camera helping an immigrant who was in the U.S. illegally evade ICE officers there to arrest him. A jury found Dugan guilty of obstruction last year. Dugan's case drew a lot of attention as the Trump administration looked to prevent people from interfering with its immigration crackdown. NBC's Maggie Vespa joins us now on this one. Maggie, remind us what Dugan was convicted of back in December, and what can you tell us about this sentence that she was given today?
Sure, Kate. It was a federal obstruction charge, and we had that security video in the intro. That's video of the judge back in April of last year talking to ICE officers, telling them to go to her chief judge's office. When they did that, she admits she went back into her courtroom and helped Eduardo Flores Ruiz and his attorney leave through a separate exit.
Based? Awesome.
Basically helping him evade arrest by ICE. She could have faced up to 5 years in prison, but today, the judge in her case, the federal judge, assigning her a $5,000 fine for the entirety of her sentence. The judge in the
It's even ridiculous to give a $5,000 fine for that.
courtroom saying that Dugan is, quote, an otherwise good person, upset by immigration policy in this country, a sentiment shared widely, saying she made a bad decision in the moment.
It's just a situation where otherwise good person upset by immigration policy in this country, a sentiment widely shared, made a bad decision in the moment. It's not a bad decision. How about we not just normalize the fact that it's, oh, like, it was a bad decision. It was bad. How about fuck you? It wasn't a bad decision. How about fuck you? It was a good decision. It was the moral decision. Fuck you. This conviction affirms that no one is above the law. There is no need for prison to protect the public from the defendant, given her age and background. Well,
going on to say this conviction affirms that no one is above the law, and adding there's no need for prison to protect the public, basically given who she is, guys, her age and background. But again, this case was a bellwether for so long around the Trump administration's immigration tactics, and this sentence getting a lot of headlines just happened in the last hour.
Yeah, and Maggie Dugan did not testify during her trial, but she addressed the court today, I understand, after sentencing. What did she say?
She didn't testify. She's never given an interview. So you're right. Today was the first time we've heard from her. We have some quotes if we can bring those up on screen. She told the courtroom, quote, "My acts that day were consistent with the community concerns." You can see these there. She goes on to say they were not done with any malicious intent or to advance any personal interest. And then she said about the aftermath, quote, "I've been cast as both a scofflaw and a hero. I am neither. She said, I'm a public servant trying to do my job." After the sentencing, her lawyer spoke. Listen to this.
Pretty awesome. Pretty cool.
She's lost so much throughout this process. The collateral consequences to her were great, and we appreciate that the judge took that into consideration whenever he sentenced her to a fine only in this case. As for the next steps, we look forward to appealing this case to the Seventh Circuit.
So, of course, we will be watching for that appeal. It's worth noting federal prosecutors, Kate, declined to comment today.
Some of these comments are gross. No wonder criminals do not fear punishment. The judge who made the sentencing on Dugan should go to prison himself. She should have gotten jail time as a deterrent to other lawbreakers. God, I hope these are bots. Oh my God. It's just bullcrap. She needs to go to jail and kicked off the freaking bench. She reached her pocket change to pay the $5K. Awesome. Based. Let's go. Prison is where she belongs. That's why they keep doing it. Not even stripped of her bar. She should have gotten jail time as well. Dude. Oh my God.
Joining me now is Eugene Daniels, MS Now senior Washington Court
Republicans panic over politics of prolonged Iran conflict.
Correspondent, co-host of The Weekend on MS Now. Eugene is also my co-host on MS Now's podcast, Clock It. And Jonathan McCarthy is here. He's a Democratic strategist and former advisor for political engagement to President Joe Biden. Let's start with NATO, shall we, friends? I've been on a number of these.
All right, I think I'm good. I don't care enough about this. I don't even know where to start with this Charlie Kirk stuff. I want to do all of them, but it's so long, and I have so many other things I want to cover. It's so... Each thing is so long, I need a condensed version or something. And then the Democratic primary debate, we get the gist. It's the primary debate, day one. I need a condensed version of this or something. I need to watch this later and see, like, what can I make enough content off of this, like, or is this gonna be a lot of dry shit? It's probably gonna be a lot of dry shit. I'm not sure. I feel like that's something I have to watch before I try to make content off of that. So it's not a lot of silence or not enough to work off of. Like it's court cases be like that, you know. All right, I think I'm good for now. Maybe we'll be back if I find something really that that can sink my teeth into. Yeah. What we do, like 3 hours 52? Yeah. Okay. We'll probably be back within 2 hours if there's something else, but don't expect it. All right. Shout out D3C1. Shout out Webmaster4531. Shout out More Temerier. The More Temerier. Shout out First T News. Shout out Blueberry Moore. Yeah. I'll be keeping my eye out for something. The moment I think like there's something that I'm like, okay, I can really sink into this, I'll be back. But otherwise, consider this the stream for the day. Later.